Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.
What's happening, people? Welcome to Tottenham Away, the best place to be in town post-match day show. How are you doing? Welcome. Smash a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. Everyone in the chat, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whichever part of the world you are from. Great to have you here. Thank you for being here. Put your comments up during the show. We'll try and go for as many possible comments as we can. What can I say? Spurs absolutely tore Southampton to pieces, battered them. The game was over after 15 minutes. It was embarrassing by half-time. They were never going to come back. We did what we needed to do in the first 15 minutes. Easy peasy. I think what I saw today was Spurs doing really well against, and it's not a lie, the worst team in the Premier League. They've won one game. They've lost 13 games. They're abysmal. And it looked like a training game. At one point, it looked like men versus under 16s. It was ridiculous. But there you go. Look, Spurs got the points. We did say today there's no way we can lose to Southampton. They're bad. And we didn't. We scored 5 goals and we kept a clean sheet. Ange buys himself more time in the job. I think the big test is coming up. Man United in the Cup on Thursday, followed by Liverpool at home on the weekend. Let's see what that looks like. But we will get into it all. We'll discuss it as we always do, win, lose or draw. Scott M, how you doing, brother? You all right? You good?
Yeah, you know, when I started supporting Spurs, it was always my dream for us to be 10th place in the league around Christmas time. And thankfully, we've been able to reach that. It's amazing. I will give Ange some credit today. I never thought I'd see when our fan base celebrated being in 10th place in the league as much as they have around YouTube today. I think it's amazing how he's changed our club so quickly to accept mediocrity and celebrate it. But luckily, we won 5-0 today, and we've basically won the quad already.
For anyone that doesn't know, Scott was being very sarcastic there. If your feelings were hurt, then you're going to love the rest of this show. Dan, how do you feel? Look, buddy, we always praise Spurs when they win, but I think we're also realistic, which is why I think a lot of people like this channel. Mm-hmm. Spurs were very, very good, but my God, Southampton looked abysmal, woeful, in fact, at times.
The way to look at this, I was scared of losing this game and said we'd probably lose it 2-1. Why? Because of the way we'd been playing and with all the history with Ipswich, Crystal Palace, teams that haven't won, you know, Dr. Tottenham comes in. We didn't. We totally obliterated them within 12 minutes, 15 minutes, basically. Totally tore them to the cleaners. And then after that, yeah, like you said, especially the second half, I actually laid back on my bed and I was reading a book while looking over the side of it, looking at the TV now and again. You can only win who you're against, yeah? Who you play against. We battered them 5-0, done the job, got it done. The thing I will say about Southampton is they look that poor. The only way I could describe them is when you get that horrible person put kittens in a carrier bag and chuck it in a river, basically, and how easy they would go down. That is what Southampton looked like. That is how bad they were. But 5-0 is 5-0. I think Spence, I'll go into the players after we are. I'm happy with 5-0. Yeah,
but we'll get into all the players and how we played and whatnot.
Second half was like a training facility, like you said. It was just like a kick around.
Yeah. Listen, the game became a shit show after 15 minutes. It almost had Newcastle away vibes when we were 5-0 down in the first half of Newcastle. It kind of felt like one of those games at one point. But Eugene, how you doing, man? You okay? How's everything over there in Malaysia?
Good morning to everyone. Right, it's 5:30 a.m. in Malaysia. Big up everyone in the chats. Right, I just finished the watch along with Scott. All I can say is just one thing, right, guys? Simple. We're going to paper over the cracks. That's all. And then we'll find out what's the real deal or whatever it is on the next few games that comes in. Yeah, it is what it is. We won. performance-wise, Scott, I think the first half we did talk a bit about football. Second half we were talking about something else, and it was just boring. That's all.
Yeah, the second half was pretty boring, but that's what happens when you go 5, 4, 6, whatever many goals up in the first.
Yeah, that's
half.
why I told Scott that's why
you're
we're
going to rotate players. You're going to bring on younger players. That happens with most games, but
I know, but that's why I told Scott, right? We can't blame them. You know, we're 5-0 up. What are you going to do? Go out and put another 5 behind, right? And what will that prove?
Entertain us. I want to be entertained.
That's what it is. Yes, I'm waiting for that answer. Yes. Bloody boring second half. I wasn't entertained at all, Scott.
Dietrich, that was a good win for Spurs, right?
Yeah, it was a good win. No complaints. Solanke shit as always. And for the first time, we didn't play with 2 inverted fullbacks, so I hope this continues. At the same time, I mean.
We will find out on Thursday what the tactics are going to be. And that Thursday game is actually going to be brilliant because Man United got a fantastic win today. Amorim getting the result. And Man United look like there's something about them. Spurs, will that win today change things for us? Listen, I think Thursday is going to be an interesting game. There's a lot at stake for both teams. So I want to get to... Go on.
One more thing. I'm Pep out, by the way. Get this manager out.
No, Pep to Spurs.
No, get him out. No, he's done. Get him out.
No, get Pep to Spurs and Spurs gets Ange.
Pep has one blip in his career at Man City and you want him gone. Are you insane?
Yeah, get him out. Enough is enough.
All right, Pep out. Big up to Henry Thong TV, channel member for 20 months. A user, super chat, thank you. He says, our fan base are delusional. We expected to win against Southampton. Can I ask why the supporters were singing Ange's name? Do that after Liverpool and Man United. They were also singing Levy Out, by the way. You could hear it on TV. Quite a few Levy Out chants, which was good. Soul Boy, did you hear them singing We Want Levy Out? Yeah, just mentioned it. We did. I heard it a few times. Good. I hope it continues. Yeah.
Just quickly on that chant. It's one of the dumbest chants I ever heard. It was something like they don't like us, and then they say we like Kulusevski. I don't know which chant it is. This isn't along the lines like at the end we want Kulu. We only care about Kulu.
Yeah, something like we don't like Daniel Levy. He doesn't care about us. All we like is Kulusevski. Something. Yeah.
All we care about is Kulusevski. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's fans. They're singing, right?
No, they're idiots. No, that's it. They're idiots.
Why is Kulu like? Oh yeah, we like that mediocre player. Hooray!
Yeah, why Kulu?
Like God, our fans are the worst.
He's been our best player this season, though. Kulu.
He's not a mediocre player. He's a good player.
Been our best player this season.
Special, but he's a good player. He's better than mediocre.
But isn't that mediocre? Nothing special. Like he's fine. He's a fine player.
Yeah,
he's a good player. He's better than mediocre.
I don't think he gets into any top team. Like he's a fine. Mediocre maybe means two. I think he's a fine player for Spurs. He's not like a special player for us, for our level. He isn't anything great. He's a fine player. He fits in the team. If he's there, great. If not, we're not really going to miss.
No. I disagree. You got that one wrong. He's a player that we miss if he's not playing. We miss him more if he's not playing. We
miss him if right now we do because we have a shit team. But if you're talking about Spurs over the years,
well, what team do you want me to talk about? The one we had 20 years ago or the one we got now? I'm talking about the team we got now. When Kulu isn't in that team, you notice it.
I'm talking
about
no
muscle in there. We got no one who can hold the ball on there. He can control the ball good enough. He can hold two people off. He's better than a bang average player. I'm not saying he's world class or nothing, but come on, you're being a bit harsh on him there.
I think Kulu's a top 6 player. I definitely think he's a top 6 player. Is he ready for Chelsea or Liverpool, who are challenging for a title? Big questions. He does go missing.
I think he's better than Szoboszlai, for example. I think he gets in the Liverpool team.
Because
I don't rate Szoboszlai.
Let's look at the starting lineup. Then we can go into all the players because we're just going into Kulu for no reason whatsoever, all because you don't like a song, right? Starting lineup was one that many of us were talking about before the game. Who's he going to start? And there was some big surprises. So Spence finally got a start, something we've all been asking. Gray and Dragusing at the back, which we know doesn't work, but we did have a choice. Some people said Gray might start in the 6. Many of us said no, he won't because Bassoon was suspended. Adogi starting again. Sarr, Bergvall, and Maddison, which was a surprise midfield because he's risked 2 very young players in Sarr and Bergvall in the 6 and the 8, Maddison in the 10. Kulu back out wide where a lot of us don't really want him to play, but rather he goes in the 10. Solanke, a striker, and Son, who hasn't been playing well, starts again. But he didn't really have much of a choice because the alternative was Werner, who got thrown under a bus by Ange, who's rubbish anyway. So really on the bench, it was only Porro, Werner, Johnson and Lancashire that you would have thought would come on. So not a very strong bench. But look, that's all we could field because Bassoon was suspended, Bentancur suspended, Van der Ven, Romero injured, Odegaard injured, Richarlison injured. When you saw that starting lineup, did any of you think, oh dear, this is a bit worrying? Or were you a little bit, not excited, but glad to see some of the players that were starting? How did you feel about this starting lineup before the games began?
I just want to say I was so happy to see Spence finally get a game.
I think a lot
Because
of
Porro, Porro deserved arrests, in my opinion. And finally he put Bergvall with Maddison and Sarr instead of just putting Maddison, Kulu, and Sarr in midfield. He finally changed it up, and I think it was finally he did something different. So I'll give him props to that. But he's still a clueless bastard, so I want him out.
What did you guys think? Oh, listen, I was happy to see Spence play. I thought maybe Reguilon would get a chance, but he wasn't in the squad at all. In some ways, I'm glad Bergvall started because I want to see what he can actually do. Oh, listen, for me, that's pretty much what I would have started, given the players that we had. That's what I would have done. So I was content with that, very content.
Yeah,
I didn't want to see Spence there.
Because I think Porro's been pretty abysmal over the past 5 games. If we're going to be honest, he hasn't even been semi-good. He has been pretty damn right bad. His defending has been absolutely shocking. Getting forward with a ball, he just looks shot at the moment. He's absolutely tired. He needed time off, even though he didn't really get it. But I was glad that Spence started because, well, he's a player in the squad. There's several times we should have actually played him. He should be in that Europa. We'd have less problems there. And I think he had a good game today. I think the setup, he done getting it past the 3 players and then that very good ball that he put straight down the middle and went in the back of the net. Good performance by him. When he stuck him on the left, he still looked good. And other thing with him, you wouldn't think he hasn't played for about 20 games, which he hasn't, really. He hasn't started a game properly for God knows how long. He looked consistent on the pitch. I thought he looked pretty good. Again, nothing special. Do I think he's better than Porro? No. But I think Porro has been that piss poor lately that he needs some time out. And that was one I was definitely happy to see on there.
Scott, you were saying you weren't happy to see Spence start.
Well, no, Spence is dog shit, so I wasn't excited. we don't have anybody else. Like, who are we gonna play?
Wait. No, Scott, I'm be honest.
Dietrich, let him finish. Dietrich, let him finish.
So I didn't want to see Spence play because there's a reason why when he was in Genoa he couldn't start very often. When he was in Rennes he couldn't start very often. Why he's every manager he's had doesn't start him very often because he's not a great player. So I wasn't excited to see him play today. But there's not like there's somebody better to start that I wish he was there for. Bergvall, I guess I thought he was terrible today, but I guess better to get him some experience. It's more, again, it's not that I don't necessarily want to see Bergvall play. Wish we had bought in a better option than him. Like, it shouldn't be at the point where we're starting Archie Gray and Bergvall in our team. We should have better players. But based on the players we have, sure, I'm excited to see Bergvall play because even when he's terrible, at least you can have hope that he's going to get better and you can see some improvement in his game. But for Spence, no, I didn't want to see him play today at all.
Okay, no, that's my question. If you don't want to see Spence, who's playing right back then?
I just said, I don't, there's nobody else who's going to be there. Doesn't mean I have to be excited that he's there, Dietrich.
No, you say you don't want to
team is crap.
No, you say you don't want to see him play, so who's going to play there?
Porro.
So you're going to play Porro that's been dog shit for 3 games?
Well, he hasn't
5
been dog
games.
shit, so why would I?
Yeah.
Yes, he has.
No.
He's been absolutely
he has.
crap. He has been absolutely shit
Like,
for about 5 games now. He's
Come on,
knackered.
Scott.
That's why he's absolutely knackered. He has been played out to the point where he's got no stamina left in him. He has looked terrible in the past 5 games.
Can I ask you guys a question, right? Who's Ange going to start right back against Man United? Because I reckon he starts Porro.
He's gonna start Porro and
Of course he is.
Porro, definitely.
Porro.
So why would he do that then if Spence is so good?
because he's an idiot. He just played Archie Gretz center back.
But you just praised him for starting Spence.
No,
Yeah.
I said give him praise, but I know he's gonna do something stupid against Man U.
Would you
No, I
guys start
thought-
Spence against Man United?
Yeah,
No,
I would
Porro
start.
isn't totally fit.
No, if I start, I would start Spence and Porro. Spence at left back because Udogi is not ready. He's not fit, and Porro at right back. That's what I would do.
That's
No,
not
no.
actually a bad call.
If you've got a fit Spence and you've got a fit Porro against
You
Man
play
United on
both.
Thursday. Let me finish what I'm saying, Dietrich. If you've got a fit Spence and you've got a fit Porro against Man United on Thursday, if you could pick one to play as right back, forget the left back situation because we don't know if Udogi is going to be ready or not. We don't know. Who would you play if it was down to you if they're both fit, Porro or Spence?
Well, if we talk about Porro hasn't been playing well, but I would play Spence
Probably Porro.
because I don't think Porro has been playing well and he's knackered.
Who else would pick Spence, or is it just Dietrich?
Depending on the situation, if Porro is still not match fit and not
Assuming
up
they're
to
both fit,
standards,
Dan, assuming
both
they're
fit,
both
then it's obviously Porro. Porro is better than Spence, but at the moment, Porro is worked out, and you can see it. He's burnt out. So if I have to pick one or the other, and they're both perfectly fit, of course I go for Porro. He's better.
Yeah, of course you would take Porro, but at the moment it's Spence.
So I'm just trying to understand. We're really excited to see Spence play, but it's more because Porro's not been playing well.
No,
So at the back of our heads, but at the back of our heads, we still think Porro's better. That's the point. I was
I
trying to
think
get
really excited is. I think really excited is the wrong way to put it.
happy.
I think the way you need to look at
Glad.
it more is not really excited. I mean, that's like that's a bit OTT. I think
Right.
a few people were happy to see him and surprised see him start because a lot of people realistically know how crap Porro has been for about 5 games because he is so burnt out. He needed a rest, even though he still had to play in the end, but he needed a rest. It was a good idea and should have been doing this a good few games back instead of just burning the player out, basically. I think that's why
What
a few
about this?
people were happy to see him on.
Dan, what about this? Ellie says
No,
play Porro at right back and play Spence at right back and Porro at right wing because Johnson's not good enough.
Well, if that was the
No.
option, I'd do that all day long. All day long.
But you won't do it.
How long ago did I say that? Stick Porro up on the top right because he can actually cross the ball and he can actually run with it, unlike Johnson. I'd do that all day long. That's what I've said for ages that I'd want to do. Stick him up on the top right. He reminds me of I don't want to relate him to the same sort of quality, but he reminds me of a Gareth Bale. He shouldn't be as a right back or a wing back. He should be at the top on the right. Like they found that out with Gareth Bale. He weren't a left back or a wing back. He was meant to be up on the far left. And I think it's the same with Porro.
You know, my judgment of Porro is that he's that unique player that I don't think he's good enough offensively to be like a designated winger, and I don't think he's good enough defensively to be a right back. So for me, he looks like a player that would really suit that Amorim system of 3-5-2, where he's like a right mid, or old school 4-4-2, old school 4-4-2, where you had a bank of 4 in front of the other 4, and he would be the right mid, right? I think that's his role because he needs defensive cover, but I don't think he's good enough going forward, in terms of dribbling, shooting, and that stuff, right? So I don't know. It's really strange, and I'm on the fence with Spence and Porro because Spence played really, really well, but also guys, let's take into consideration the level of opposition. Fuck's sake, I don't know if I think Southampton will give a run for their money. Will give Sheffield from last season a run for their money in terms of how fucking shit they are. It's ridiculous.
They were bad today. They was really bad.
Holy
this is the problem, right? You want to praise Spurs, you want to say brilliant, well done, excellent, but I remember when we beat Man City and I came on the show and I said, listen, guys, Man City don't look right. They look busted, man. And I get it, 4-0, amazing. But we are kind of their bogey team. But Man City haven't won in 5 games. We played them at the perfect time. And everyone got on my back. And since then, Man City have won 1 game in 10. 1 in 10 since
11,
so
11, I think now.
1-11.
1-11.
You get the idea. You get what I'm saying, right? 1 in
Yeah.
9, 10, 11, right?
Yeah, whatever.
And I look at Southampton today and I want to say, yes, brilliant. But the reality is, I can't get excited because at the back of my mind, all I'm thinking is they were absolutely shit. They're bottom of the league with 5 points for a reason. Their goal difference is horrendous. They've only won 1 game. Let's see what we do against Man United and Liverpool before I even begin to think, because I've got a feeling the next 7 days, this isn't what the show's going to look like. Right?
You know what the funny thought is, right? I am really thankful that Sutton had that 1 win over Everton, because if they were on 0 wins, I would be shitting it today. Like, if they had 0 wins,
Dr. Tottenham, yeah?
Dr. Tottenham in the town.
Because you want to say Spence was brilliant. You want to say Maddison, what a game. You want to say, yeah, Pape Sarr. But they were walking past players, man.
Yeah.
The amount of time Southampton lose possession playing out from the back. They're the worst team, by the way, at trying to play out from the back without ever changing it. But I think their manager is Ange on steroids. He's Ange, but on the next level of kind of drug. It was mental. And I saw that they did the same thing against... They did the same thing against Chelsea, and Chelsea put 5 past them as well. They did the exact same thing. And I thought to myself, do you know what? If they do that to us, and they did it, and we literally put 5 past them, and this was something I was discussing last week. They're awful at playing out from the back. But I thought, are we going to be dodgy as well? But, I think once we went 2 goals up, I never felt that they were going to come back.
But still, it's like playing a championship team, right? So that's the levels that we see that difference. You get what I'm saying? So, like I said, okay, the win is the win, right? I'll take the win. But the thing is that, like I said, papering over the cracks again to see what's going to happen next. If that's the thing, while me and Scott were doing the watch along, right? During the second half, we in this conundrum is that we are 5-0 up. Are we going to go out there and put so much energy into it, or are we going to conserve energy? But it looked like he did a few good moves. He did conserve energy. He did bring on the changes and all that. But he doesn't do that enough, right? It's like when he did it with the M-City game, we give him praise, right? But then after that, he reverts back to his old style again. So, but today, opposition wasn't there. Those guys, come on, guys. I don't know. They, in the second half stats, right, they only had 2 shots on goal. I think in the overall stats, they had 2 shots on goal and 1 on target.
The stats for both teams in the second half was non-existent, almost.
Yeah. So, but all I can say is Spence coming on surprised me, right? But we were seeing that sooner or later they had to come, because Porro was putting in performances like he's lost his legs. You get what I'm saying? So that's one thing that he rested him, maybe for the part of the Manchester United game. Stoney was brought off after a while. So let's see whether it has the positive effect for Thursday. Thursday, right? If I'm not mistaken. 4 a.m. in the morning.
I just want to bring up this comment from Billy, because Billy, you're being absolutely absurd. And that's the only word. You say, when we beat them, they're the worst team. Billy, when you're bottom of the league, that means you're the worst team in the Premier League. When you've lost the most games in the league, that means you're the worst team in the league. When you've conceded the most goals, you are the worst team in the league. When you've got the worst goals difference, guess what that means? You're the worst team in the league. All their metrics are bottom. They literally are the worst team. So this comment here is the fake positivity we must stop across the community. It's this fake positivity that causes the toxicity further down the line. Billy, I don't know what else to say to you. I'm trying to be friendly and nice about it because it's Christmas, and I don't want to go to war with anyone, but they are the worst team in the league. They literally are the worst team.
It is the worst team in the league, but at the end of the day, 5-0's 5-0. I do like the way Ange did make some of the subs in the second half. I think he should have actually made them earlier, just to basically take off the players. The game was won. It was done. It was dusted. So I think he could have taken off some of the players earlier. But I like the way the game, we actually slowed it down and just pissballed about, basically. Very boring to watch, but it was better for the players as such. I mean, with 5-0 up, would you really need to go on in the second half and go out again all guns blazing? No, you don't. So I like the way the whole game went, basically, bar the injuries we got. More.
But then I wasn't entertained in the second half. I don't care. I want my entertainment.
Well, mate, sometimes you have to go to the toilet and entertain yourself.
Steady on.
Right,
How-
I was
how
about to
do we
say,
do
write
this?
something, write Levy out on there with a pen or something. Maybe that'll entertain you.
This is a family channel. This is a family. No, it's not. By the way, can I just say,
This is after the 20 game, like you said.
can I just quickly say on Jed Spence, I don't actually have an opinion on him. And the reason is, pre-season, I thought he looked quite good, but I don't ever look at pre-season to judge a player because it's not competitive. I thought when he came on against Coventry in the Carabao Cup, he turned the game for us, but Coventry aren't even a Premier League team. And I thought today Jed Spence played well, but again, it's against the worst team in the league. I can't judge Jed Spence until he plays 5, 8, 10 games in a row where he's playing some really good teams, some average teams, some not so good teams, maybe a couple of good European teams. Then I can say, right, guys, this is what I think of Jed Spence. He hasn't been given the minutes for me to have an opinion. My opinion on Jed Spence is I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Other than Conte didn't want him. That's all I know. I don't know anything else.
But still, he's had minutes in Ligue 1 and in Serie A and wasn't good enough either there.
But
So
that's
why do
not
we
true.
think that when he takes an increase
Scott,
in level and
Dietrich,
competition,
let him finish.
all of a sudden he's
Because
gonna
it's
be
not
better?
true.
Dietrich,
It's not
okay,
true.
It is true. Look
Dietrich,
at how often he was on the bench at those.
No, no.
Dietrich,
What you say? No.
Dietrich, no, please. Let him finish his points and then tell us everything he said that's wrong. Otherwise, he doesn't get his point across, right? Scott, because I want to hear it as well. I want to hear this, right?
At Genoa and Rennes, look at how often he was on the bench. He wasn't a regular full-time starter at either of those clubs. Genoa said they were willing to pay 6 or 7 million for him. That's not somebody who they really desperately want. He wasn't a top player at those mid-table clubs in those weaker leagues.
Okay, first of all, Genoa, he did play a lot. And second of all, Genoa is a broke club. This is why they were only able to spend 7 million. Because Genoa doesn't have the money. They don't have the money.
If that, and they would have had to do that they would have had to cover that over 5 years as well. Genoa got a pop.
Genoa is broke.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
but he
broke.
didn't play for them. Look at
Yes,
the
he did
stats.
play.
He
Did play.
He wasn't week in, week out. No, he isn't.
I'm looking at the stats right now. He played 16 games for them.
Yeah, not week in, week out.
Guys, listen. Personally, I don't care what he did in Genoa. I'm assessing him as a Spurs player because there's been players that have played in other leagues and teams that look good or look bad, and they come to a Premier League team and everything changes. For me, well, look, I want to assess him as a Spurs player. Okay, there's some players before they come, I've seen enough to know. No, for example, I saw enough of Timo Werner for 5 years to know at his age, I don't want him at this club. With Spence, I just haven't seen enough to make a decision. I'm not for him, but I'm not against him. I don't know. I hear your arguments. I just feel that until he gets a proper chance at Spurs, the only thing I will say about Spence, which gives me a doubt, is that Conte never started him. Ange never started him. And no matter who manages him
today still
at Spurs, Eugene, I'm not talking as a one-off game. I mean, in general, to give him a real chance. No manager has ever properly said, yeah, I'm going to really push for you to be my number one guy and see what you do. And that makes me think, that's it's a bit of a
red flag.
The question is with it, is it his mentality, his ability?
It's dodgy as fuck. It has to be like something. I think it's something off the pitch because I'm not. Listen, I'm not saying he's like a world class talent, whatever. Nothing like that, right? But today he looked like competitive, right? He looked not out of his place, right?
Yeah, but against the championship team.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you can only play who you're playing against.
Yeah.
And the thing I will give him credit for is he did not look rusty for one moment on that pitch. And I bet you go and take a lot of players off and they don't play for about 20, 30, 40 games sort of thing, starting a game. They will come on that pitch and look rusty. He didn't look rusty. I'm not saying he's a good player. I don't think he's a good player. Should we have better cover there? Yes, we should.
Guys,
But today he came on. He looked fluid on the pitch. He looked like he knew what he was doing. Made a very good pass. Made some good runs with the ball and that. He had a respectable game. End of.
Guys, okay, it's very simple. If Ange plays Spence on Thursday against Manchester United, he puts up a performance, right? Then I'll sit up and say, okay, maybe this guy has a chance. But at the moment, he did play well against a very poor Southampton side, the championship side. Maybe that's his level. So we will have to see what is his next
Who
level.
knows?
But Eugene, my only problem I have with Ange is I know damn well that he's gonna play Archie Gray and Ragu in center back, and he's gonna play Udogie once again that came off injured, and Porro at fullback
Okay.
against a good Man United team.
By the way, did Spence go off injured as well?
Well, just at the end because he like his tiredness, so it's normal.
Hopefully, it's just his
So it was fatigue. It was
fatigue.
I heard someone said his calf went, but I don't know.
No, just
someone
fatigue.
said, yeah, someone did say calf on the TV. But then out of question, yeah? Who would you have on the right then? So Porro's injured, he's out. Example, yeah? Purely example. Who do you have there? Archie Gray or Spence?
Spence. He's a right back. Play right back. And a right.
I don't care.
No bollocks. Don't try that one, yeah? Don't take a cheap shot out of that. Who do you have? Spence
How is it
or
a
Gray?
cheap shot? I don't care. Neither one is good enough. I don't think either
mate,
one's
do you know
that
what?
much
You do
better,
yourself
so I don't
no
care which
favours.
one plays, Dan.
Next time you come on, bring yourself a fucking rope. Eugene, who would you have? Seriously, mate, you do yourself no favours. Come on.
Oh, you're talking
What
about
thing? Because I speak the fucking truth? And I don't
What,
think
so
we
you'd
to
have
be
nobody
happy
there.
clappers all the
So
time?
if I gave you a choice, who's happy clapping? If I gave you a choice of one or the other, it was a simple answer. If you was
And
a
I
football
said, I
manager
don't
and you
think
only had
either
one of
is
them
good
two to
enough.
bring
I don't
on.
think either one.
Okay, Scott, you don't care, but if you were the manager and you had to pick a player, like you're running the team, who would be your choice if you were forced to pick one?
Spence, then.
Spence.
There you go.
This is the point. We are not happy with both options, right? But the
you're
state
talking
of the
about-
squad is the way it is, right?
No, are you talking about left back?
Right back.
Eugene, get with the program.
Yeah.
Come on, Eugene.
Guys,
Are we talking about Tottenham?
But just to prove Scott right. If I had a choice, I would spell Spence, Archie Gray, and Porro, and buy a new right back if I had a choice. But unfortunately, we don't have. Well, unfortunately, we have these players now, and they're all shit.
And how many times have people on here said on the Europa and that, why the hell wasn't he picked there? We could be using him as right back, left back, everything else. People have been going on about him for quite a while. No one on here is saying he's special or nothing, but he is a player you can use. And I would damn right rather stick him on the right or the left than put Archie Gray there.
I just want to see us play players whose natural position is a position. So if Archie Gray's 6, as people claim, I want to see him in a 6. If Spence is a right back, I want him to be in the right back. Things like that. You know, if Maddison is a 10, I want to see him in the 10, not in the front 3. Just stuff like that. I want to see players. That's why I picked Spence, because I just don't want to see Archie Gray, who most people have told me Ian has told me he's a number 6, right? But I've never seen Gray playing the 6 once for Tottenham.
I've been saying this the whole time from the beginning of the season when we got Archie Gray. Archie Gray is not going to be playing in midfield. His job, right, is to play in defense this season. If he moves into midfield next season, I don't know. But why are we still going on that 6 and defense? But to tell you the truth, right, guys, Spence, right back, of course, it's going to be natural. You say that you're going to pick a Porro and a Spence, and if the Porro, you got no choice, right? Who are you going to take, right? Of course, unless you're going to put Alfie Dorrington there. Was Alfie Dorrington coming on as a left back or right back in 9 minutes? Are we going to try that?
Do you know what? Actually, this is something I want to ask you guys. By the way, AUs, I think for the super chat, how important is Thursday's game? I'm going to save this and come on to it. In the second half today, right? At half time, I put a message out saying my thoughts on the game so far, and I said the game's over, it's done. Southampton aren't coming back. They haven't scored, I think, more than 2 goals all season, let alone 5 just to draw. And Spurs can get more goals if they really want to. I said I want to see Lancashire come on. I want to see Dorrington come on. Put on another 2-3 kids. Who cares if we only win it 5-3? Okay, big deal. Points are points. 5-3 is the same as 5-0 in terms of points. I want to see the kids now have a run out and get proper minutes. I want to see the youngsters get an opportunity. If this is Project Youth, show me, because you've got youngsters on the bench. And at half time, he takes off Son and brings on Johnson. And I'm like, what the fuck? And on top of that, he didn't bring on Lancashire or Dorrington until the latter stage of the game. Like, what's the point? You've done it again. What do you make of this? Because when people say to me, this is a youth project, I can't see the evidence of it. And let's be fair, the only reason Bergvall and Gray played today is because there was no other choices. We were depleted. So we're forced to play 2 youngsters. So that's not Project Youth when you're forcing it. And the youngsters he's got on the bench, he still doesn't want to give them 40, 30 minutes when we're 5-0 up against the team bottom of the table. What did you make of that?
Time.
The most...
It pissed me off, if I'm honest with you. It pissed me off. That's not what I want to see.
The one that really pissed me off when I saw Werner and Dorrington coming out, subbing on at the same time. When I saw Werner, I was like, what the fuck? 5-0 up, you bring this bum on the pitch. I don't know what to say. This guy's a fucking idiot.
And do you know what? Jimmy makes a good point. Bring on the young goalkeeper. Let him have 30 minutes. Why not?
Do you know what? That's not the worst one I've actually heard, but it's not one that I can't say I've actually thought of. So yeah, fair play on that one. I thought Solanke should have come off at half time. I thought he was pretty goddamn crap.
He's a terrible striker.
Considering how easy it was to score, he looked horrendous today. He really did. I think we should have took him off at half time, brought on Lancashire, and then maybe as it went on, also brought on Dorrington a bit earlier. Give him a go in the middle, and then I don't know, maybe swap him for one of the middle ones and actually put Archie Gray in the middle. Because we was 5-0 up, it was rolling. That was the perfect time for 45 minutes to give a few players some game time.
And why you didn't bring on Lucas Burnett, something like that, the youngster, the 16-year-old?
I think those guys were just like bench fillers, right? I'm not saying it's right not to bring them on, right? But I think they were purely there just to, make up the numbers, right? But actually, like Stel and Dan made like really good points, and this is something that I wanted to say, right? Overall, I think it was like a solid performance, nothing to write home about, right? But I have 2 issues with that performance today, right? One is what Stel mentioned. Why didn't the youngsters come on earlier? If you are 5-0 up at halftime, it's not even like, we ended the game 5-0 up after scoring in like 80th minute, whatever, right? I think there was plenty of space to test out Dorrington more, for example, right? I like Porro could get a rest, right? Or like, something could have been done to give them more minutes, right? And my second issue, I know it will be a bit of a shit show, right? But how the fuck do we score 5 goals in one half and our striker is not involved in fucking one of them?
We're going to talk about Solanke after we discuss the kids. We need to talk about it. We need to.
I think he assisted one. I might be wrong.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
But wasn't that when he like fell down and it bounced off?
Yeah.
You
know what I'm
Guys,
saying?
1 minute. We'll come back onto that. Michael, so you know, Lancashire came on with 8 minutes to go, and Dorrington came on with 12 minutes to go.
Let's go. Yeah.
Should have brought him on much earlier. Earlier.
Can I just say Dorrington?
Beatrix, let him finish. Go on, Michael.
Yeah.
I'm not even saying he should have brought them on at like halftime, right? I understand that he wanted to, go out there, stabilize the game, like, take the sting out of it, right? But 60th minute, give them like half an hour, not like 12 minutes or 8 minutes, right? It's like that's my point, right? That the only reason why I was saying about the Solanke assist is because in FPL he is marked as he has 1 assist in FPL, right? So I don't know if it counts for like official stats, whatever, right? But in FPL at least he has 1, right? So, but I don't. As you guys said, I think it was like an accidental thing, not really like a created pass, right? we'll have to talk about it.
Still, it's so simple. Why Ange didn't put the youngsters on earlier is because he doesn't have confidence in them.
But you
That's
have
the thing.
5-0 up, Eugene. It's like,
Come on,
No,
Eugene.
that is the fear he
Eugene,
has.
no.
You guys, guys, it's so obvious. If you have the confidence that you can maintain it, or you're willing to concede, right, to put the youngsters on, right, that's what he has. Number one, now he's got a fear of conceding, right? Now, if he puts the youngsters on, right, and we end up winning 5-3, right, then he will have that the hounding on him again. So he's psychologically in a turmoil himself.
Do you know what?
That's why he didn't put them on earlier. He wanted it to be
I get
secure.
what you're saying about the clean sheet, but if he'd have brought, say for instance, he'd have brought Lancashire on like 50, 55 minutes and done the same with Dorrington, yeah? And then we made a couple of slip-ups through Dorrington or whatever, and we conceded 2 goals. Now, a few of us would be happy that we didn't keep a clean sheet, but I think a few people would actually be quite willing to sit back and say, well, we brought on the youths. He gave them a chance and that. Yeah, the youth made a mistake. And what? Totally different to if you go and bring on a fully qualified player as such, and then he goes and cocks it up as such. I would have personally been a lot more, no, fine, you brought the youth on and that, you've made a mistake, I can deal with that. We still won 5-2.
No, Scott was saying this earlier. With that 5 goals, right? Our goal difference, right? Now we have the best in the league. And there's a trophy there for us there. Scott was saying.
And just to talk on the youngsters, I know he didn't do much, but Dorrington looked like he looked comfortable. Like his first play, he did a good defensive block, and on the ball, like he doesn't look out of place.
Yeah,
In my opinion, I know he's still young. I know he has no experience. I know it's Southampton once again.
Remember, we said this about the kids pre-season against Hearts and QPR, and then as soon as the season started, we weren't saying these things.
No, I just want to see him I want to see players play under position, and I think Dorrington should play against Man United because we don't have anyone else. I don't want to see Archie Gray.
Right back?
I think Archie Gray will probably get the nod. I just want to address this. Lenny Lookman. Stel, no other team has played 4 teenagers at the same time this season. We played the youth project today.
Man City.
Lenny Lookman. No other team this season went 5-0 up against the team bottom of the league either by half time. So I hear what you're saying, but that was not a youth project today. Let's not be silly, because if it was a youth project, we would have started 3 or 4 kids from the start. If that was a youth project, I'm not buying that at all. We were
at least got them on at half time.
Listen, the starting lineup, it was forced. Porro coming off was forced. He got not Porro. Porro coming on was forced because Udogie had to go off. He got injured. So I don't buy this. Today that squad was forced. The selection was due to injuries and suspensions. But when you're 5-0 up in cruise control, their manager didn't even see the 5th goal because he walked out at 4-0. He literally walked down the tunnel. This is what we got up against.
That was he thought it was half time.
He didn't even see the 5th goal. We shouldn't be worried about bringing on the kids. So I would have liked to have seen Austin come on, Lancashire and Dorrington at half time, or at least 30 minutes to go. Because, you know, sometimes teams might get 1 or 2 goals and you think, are we going to crumble? When you knew that wasn't happening, fucking let them play. This is exactly what we said last year when we were 4-0 up against Newcastle at home. We said the same. We had the same conversation.
Yeah, with 30 minutes left, I get it. Not straight away at half time. I get that point. But with 30 minutes left, Southampton, they weren't going nowhere. You could see that fast. We had it in the palm of our hand. And yes, I know we've slipped up and lost things when we've had it like that. But 5-0 against the worst Premier League team in the country I don't even think Spurs could pull that off. I say think very lightly. But it would have been the perfect time to go and give a couple of them 30 minutes on the pitch, I think, longer than what they did play. Like I said, Solanke should have been off a lot quicker and Dorrington should have been on quicker as well. Personal opinion.
I agree. What do you think of this? A user says, in the second half, did we sit back or was our defence poor?
I think we sat back.
It's that bad and poor. But
I think we really sat back.
Yeah, I think we just
'Cause
said, job done, sort of sit back.
Yeah,
don't burn yourself
5-0
out,
job done,
and-
like they didn't care.
yeah,
I personally think if we really like wanted to embarrass them more today, listen, Southampton were so bad today that I think if we went out with the same intention as we did in the first half, I think we could have like broken a record today. You know, the record is 9-0, right?
Yeah.
Like I kid you not, they were this bad, right? I just think we basically took this thing out of the game. Which listen, as much as I would like to see a record being set right today, I don't mind saying this, right? I also think it's better to manage a game and actually use less energy,
I agree.
considering we have a game on Thursday, right? So I
100%.
really don't mind that we sat back and let them have the ball and take a few shots. It's like it's 5-0, as Elias has said, right? They haven't scored more than 2 goals this season. They are not coming back from 5-0 down at
Is our
halftime.
game
right?
on? Is our next game on Wednesday or Thursday?
Thursday.
Thursday, I think.
Thursday.
Shit.
Why is
No,
that
but I
shit?
agree with what you just said, Mike. I agree with what you just said. I mean, why go in all guns blazing? All right, if you want to break a record, or if you really need to catch up on some goals, which we don't, I thought the right thing was done, basically. The game was won, it was done. Why get stuck into it even more, risk injuries, knacker out players more and that? Just sit back and waddle along. No, I know it looks piss poor watching everything, but that is the way I would manage a game in that aspect. So I agree with you, Mike.
Yeah, I think we sat back. I think there were still times where we shut off and guys got
exactly.
behind us like always, but I think it's more about us just sitting back and I think the one thing why we really could have broke the record is because Southampton seemed willing to let us. They seem to keep playing into it. Like that manager, everybody's saying now that he's gone, and it's surprising or not surprising, I mean, because he seemed just as fine to let us score at will as much as we wanted to. He wasn't going to change that. And
yeah,
Oh, they just fired the they just fired the manager.
Yeah.
Southampton just sacked their manager.
Yeah, by the way, it's two managers gone in one game.
Yeah, officially he's been
O'Neill.
sacked.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it's
O'Neill also
official.
got sacked yesterday, right? So it's 2 managers in one game week.
So with today, out of question, doesn't that now make Maddison our highest goal scorer and all the other stuff with
Assist
XG
goal.
and all that crap?
Yeah,
with it?
the EA stuff.
In the league,
I don't know.
I think in the league he is tied with Johnson, right? They both have 6 goals. but-
This is the joke thing. Their stats are skewed, just like Spurs is skewed. So I think we've scored the second highest number of goals in the league, or the first in the league.
I think we're
I think
first.
we are equal with Chelsea now. I think.
Right, we're equal first, and I think we've got the second best goal difference. But this is the thing: 75% of those goals are in 5 games. Like today, 5.
Chelsea has one more.
Right, we won 5-0. Man United 3-0. We put 4
City.
past Villa, 5 past West Ham, 4
Or
past City.
whatever.
It's like a lot of our goals are in a few games. So when you actually if you spread it out, which is what an average is, it looks like we score lots and lots of goals. No, we score lots of goals when everything goes right. When it doesn't quite go right, we don't know how to score.
But
And this
the
is,
only
You're right.
this is the issue.
But wasn't
This
it
is
only
the
our
only-
second win in 9 games or something? Is it only our second win in 9
Yeah.
games or something like that?
Or
But
eight,
that-
8 games.
That is the biggest. That is the biggest distortion in the stats. Yes, you know, we lose games by 1 goal, but when we win games, right, we win them 4-5 goals. That's why we're in our position now. If we were really good, right,
Yeah,
if we
it's
could have
true.
converted those to wins or draws, we'll be higher in the position.
But the only credit I'll give to Ange is every game we score.
Yeah,
Every
We
game
never
we
went to a game we didn't score. That's the only credit.
Except Bournemouth,
Palace.
except Bournemouth,
Bournemouth.
Palace, and Arsenal at home.
Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, no, I take it back. Sorry, I'm talking shit. Yeah, I'm talking shit. I
Yeah,
forgot.
you do talk shit. You do talk shit.
Yeah. They
No, but I have to say it's guys, it's a fucking like really a peculiar thing, right? We've played 16 games this season. We won 7 of them, right? And every single game that we have won in the league was like by 4 goals or more. It's ridiculous when you look at it. Or sorry, United was 3, right? But other than that, it's like 4-0, 4-1, 4-1, 4-0, 5-0 today,
Oh, maybe
and
my
one
theory
more,
is right.
right? It's like ridiculous. And every single game we lose, it's like
James, I think I want to jump on what Michael's saying. So James Hunter and Billy, I get you want to be positive, but the fakeness in your positivity, you must stop this, right? You want us to score 4 goals every game. And then James Hunter says you can't score 4 goals. We're not saying score 4 goals in every game. What we're saying is, what's the point of scoring 5 against Southampton if you can't score 1 against Palace? What's the point of scoring 4 against Man City when you can only score 1 against Ipswich? What's the point of scoring 4 against Aston Villa when you can only score 1 against Bournemouth?
No.
If you can't understand that from this conversation, then you're only here to troll, and you're only here because your feelings are being upset by honest conversation. And I see this all the time. You like these things people say. You expect us. We said nothing like that. What we're trying to say is a lot of our goals are skewed, and that's pointless.
Patches.
Well, it's this kamikaze tactics. It's unsustainable.
But then, still, doesn't
good or extremely bad. There's no
doesn't it show though that it doesn't work? Because Russell Martin, bear in mind he has much worse players than us, right? He's playing this open game, getting battered every week because all the teams are better quality than him, and he got sacked today because we put 5 past him. Because on paper, and obviously like in real life, we've got a way better team than them quality wise, and because they were so open, it's cost him his job.
Yeah, I mean, I get the point. Yeah,
because
I
it
get
cost
the point,
company suffered the same thing last season with Burnley.
Yeah, but we also put.
It has their issues. They can't score goals to try and save them, right?
Yeah,
they can't. Score
I
goals.
know. But one thing, because rather than saying, for example, if I was a team coming from the Championship, my first aim would be to keep it tight, so at least try and get points on the board, right? And then, like in games, try and keep yourself in the game, and then try and push maybe late on or something like that.
You mean adapt when it's not working?
Yeah.
Well, he did actually. He adapted after 15 minutes when he went 3-0 down.
It's too late.
He changed the player. He changed the player, right? And then they.
But who expects?
He went 3 at the back at 4-0, and I think at 3-0, and it did begin to suppress it, but it was too late. It was too late.
But then who expects to be 3-0 down in 12 minutes or whatever? It's not sort of one you can really blame him on that aspect. It don't usually happen.
But in general, they play open football. Like I've known it for a while at Southampton. They play open football, but their quality wise is not that great. It's just
we were saying for the last week when we were talking about this game, and I heard it on other channels as well. Southampton playing out from the back are horrendous. Like they literally gift you the ball. And how many misplaced passes did we? Their fans were booing because of the tactics, giving us the ball non-stop. They were booing. Yeah. They were booing their own team at like 2-0. Yeah. So and we're the worst team to do that to, by the way. We're the worst team to do that to because we press well.
Yeah. Their goalkeeper literally kept passing the balls to us, right? It's like it was fucking ridiculous when you actually like pay attention to the quality of the opposition today, right? Like with all due respect to those players, but under this system, guys, they have fucking Jan Bednarek at the back. I watch this cunt every single fucking international break for my national team. Sorry, but. Nah, come on! Like I
only Michael.
I think we've said worse things.
To be fair to the keeper, there was a few times he kicked it straight out of bounds as well. So not always to us.
Yeah, okay.
But there's honestly the only player I wish we have him as Spurs is Dibbling. That kid is fucking good.
He had a good few moments.
Second half, he looked decent. Second half,
he had a good few
guys,
moments. With what you said about the.
Take care.
I gotta go, right? It's gonna be 6:30 in Malaysia, right? If anybody haven't subscribed to Spursvasion TV yet, please go over and show some love. Subscribe to me, right? I try to fill the void of the watch-alongs for any voice that needs to be filled. All right, guys. Thanks, Steph, for having me on. Scott, thanks for being on the watch-along with me earlier. Danny, big up. Asper, Harry, big up. Michael,
big up.
Take care.
I remember, I miss your goals, right? Yeah.
Big up Eugene, Spursvasion TV. Make sure you go follow him. Asia's #1 Spurs content creator. Big up to Eugene as always.
With what you said about the goals and that, I totally agree with you. Because it sort of makes the stats lie in its way. I mean, the one I'm going to compare it with, it's like Son. He used to always score 2, 2, 1. And then you wouldn't see him score for 4 games. and then they score a hat trick, score 2, and then he don't score for 4 or 5 games. But then when you add it all up together and you look at it, he's played, say, 20 games and he's got like 12 goals. You think, yeah, he's done really well. But when you actually look in the patches that he does it, he's always done it in a matter of a couple of games, scored a lump, and then hasn't scored for a couple of games. Now, I'm not saying he's played bad in those couple of games, but for me, he's always scored in patches that when you look at it on the stats, it looks like he's a consistent goal scorer. Looks like we are at the moment as well. But like you said, we're winning games 4-0, 5-0, 4-0, 3-0. And with the stats we've got on goals, it looks like we're smashing the goals in left, right, and centre. But it's not. It's in patches, isn't it?
Well, Mo makes a good point. Southampton sat their manager. We only win against struggling managers like Pep and Ten Hag.
I think the only one that doesn't, although like I wanted to say that we won against Villa and Emery doesn't fall into that category, but to be fair, Villa were like what, like
Villa's been on a bad run
8
for like
winless,
10 games.
yeah, 8 winless for like a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Right?
James
So,
was right about Defoe. I hate to say that because Defoe was one of my favorite players, but he used to score in patches. Like Keane was more consistent goal scorer. He used to score like one, every week almost. Robbie Keane, but Defoe was more like a patchy scorer from what I remember. Like, I love Defoe, but I can't say it.
Son,
guys, someone on the side was going to say, go on.
Yeah, in the chat, Son hate. I was wondering when it was coming. When did you hear any Son hate? Like I don't get it. Right?
He's crap. I'll say it. He's crap.
Okay, that's Son
and just
hate.
put something here. I don't hate nobody. Just because I say a player has done something like this, why would I hate? I don't hate. No one rattles me enough or gets my emotions going enough for me to give them hate. Just because I don't rate a manager or I say a player does something.
I hate Daniel Levy.
I
hate him.
I hate Daniel Levy. I hate his family. I hate his ancestors. I hate everything about him.
I don't hate nobody.
I'll just hate Daniel Levy. I don't know.
Not his whole family.
Nothing rattles me enough to have that word. But with that, so what? Just because I've stated that Son, which I can actually, if I bring it all up, prove, has always scored in patches for Spurs. I'm not saying those games he doesn't score in that he doesn't play good, but he has always scored in patches. But then when you go and look at it over, say, 20 games or whatever, it looks like he's been more consistent than he actually has at times. And that's what Spurs are doing at the moment.
I think what's telling is if you look at the top 10 strikers in the Premier League this season, there's not one Spurs player. And people will say, oh, that's because we spread the goals. But here's the thing. One of those top 10 strikers, when we're desperate for a goal against Ipswich, against Bournemouth, they're probably the strikers that will get you that goal because that's what Harry Kane used to do. That's what Berbatov did. That's what Keane did. In key moments where you just need someone, that's what top strikers do. And I think Son right now, he's having the worst season he's had in terms of what we expect from him and what we're used to. And I mean, Solanke, guys, I'm going to say it again, man. I do not think this guy's a top player at all. Do you know what? And I don't even rate him just for linking up the play and pressing.
Here's the problem, really, because like we mentioned about the top 10 strikers, right? So if we don't have someone on that level, then that's what's costing us, really.
He works hard. That's the best I've heard. He works hard.
Oh, okay.
We work hard. I work hard.
And there's a reason why Solanke's 27, and this is and he's taken this long for him because he failed at his other opportunities. He's 27. It's the first year we've heard about him going to a big club, and whether we're even a big club or not. And he's showing that he's not. Again, it's not his fault that he was 65 million, but he's not a player that changes the game. He's not a player that changes the game. He's not a striker that you can rely on, as you were saying, to score a big goal. When we need a goal, when we're down and we need somebody to step up, has anybody seen anything from Solanke that thinks that he's going to do that?
No.
See, Billy, there's a lack of top strikers at the moment. Well, there's 10 strikers who are in the top 10 in the league, all better than Solanke right now.
Chris Wood.
He's outdoing him. Delap at Ipswich is outdoing. Ipswich is outdoing Solanke.
Actually, ironically enough, James Maddison is 10th now. But I know your point still stands, right?
Really? Has Maddison gone into the top?
Yeah,
okay. A midfielder.
Yeah, your point.
Midfielder,
exactly.
imagine.
Your point still stands because how is James Maddison the top scorer of the team and not Dominic Solanke, right? That's my point, right?
Michael,
it's
has
like
Maddison got 10 Premier League goals?
7. No, he's into top 10. I meant, right?
Is 7 goals top 10, right?
He's got
Yeah.
two-
He's
two today,
he's
four.
tied with Isaac. That's according to Premier League site. I have it on the
And
other screen. Right?
Imagine we've got fans that slag off
It's-
Maddison.
yeah,
Like,
He should play more, man. I don't know why he doesn't play.
Haaland 13, Salah 13, Cole Palmer 11, Mbeumo Wood 10, Jackson Wissa 9, Cunha 8, Isaac Madison 7. And Ollie Watkins has 7 too. So they are like tied for, I guess technically it's
I
9th,
think it's
right?
3 goals, you know.
Yeah.
3.
2 against City, 2 today.
And what's the other 3?
He scored against Villa, I think. He
Oh
scored.
yeah, he scored that free kick against. Was that free kick against Villa?
Yeah.
That's the
listen,
fifth
I,
one.
look, I, look,
It
I
doesn't matter, right?
I think
Yeah,
Maddison's
no, I
a
was
good
trying to
player.
remember them. Sorry.
Yeah.
For me, Maddison and Kulu, I don't class them as the front three. I think them as they're better as midfielders. When I think of the front three, I think of Johnson, Solanke, Richarlison, Odegaard, Werner. They're the kind of ones I expect to be scoring the goals.
But for me, this is why I put Son up front, because, like, for me,
who has
Son.
put Son up front. I don't know what the problem. Play Maddison behind him. And put
Didn't
Son up
he
front.
play up front in a game a couple of weeks ago when Solanke was out and he had a disaster?
He played against Rangers up top, right?
That wasn't exactly the best game to put him up top in.
But there's a Premier League game. He played up top because Solanke picked up a
Everton
minor
got
injury.
2, didn't he? When he
It was
played
like
up
3 or
top?
4 games ago.
Yeah, he did play one, but I don't remember which one it was.
Look, do we all agree that Son is on the decline? Do we all agree on
Yeah,
that?
I said that ages
Yeah,
ago.
it's-
So.
100%. He's been
So
on
he
the
needs
decline for about 3 seasons, really.
Okay, but can we say the same for Solanke? Is he on the decline or is he just not
He was
that
never
good?
that good. So.
I just think
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah, he's just
Solanke's
not that
ever-
good.
Yeah, I agree. He's just never actually been that good as such. So he's not on the decline. He's just as good as he was, which isn't very good.
It was just an idea because obviously Son, to his credit, last season up front he scored 16 Premier League goals or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you do that, Taz, you have to have Solanke up. It has to be a front 2. Son
fair
can't
enough.
play on his own.
Now,
It
them
have to
two
be a
could
front
work
2.
together up front. I agree with that. Them two up front could work together.
I said that pre-season. I said it's going to be a problem playing
Yeah.
Son and Solanke together. I said
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, you did.
Son can't go out left anymore. You know what? When you look at the stats,
Although to be fair, today, like I know again level of opposition, right? But today on the wing, he was like, "Fuck me!" That outside of the boot pass to Maddison for the 5th goal, chef's kiss. Like fuck me, that was good, right? But
he missed a
again,
lot of
the
chances.
level of
as well,
opposition.
Michael.
Yeah,
He missed a lot of chances today, Son.
I mean, Johnson.
He's not as He's not as clinical as he used to be.
Yeah.
No
I mean,
way,
there's
yeah.
about 3 games on the trot now that I have seen him by Son standards. I'm going to go by now, yeah, not just an average striker or an average finisher. I'm going to go by Son standards. By Son standards, he has been abysmal over the past 4 or 5 games for his finishing to what we know he is capable of. Now, if people are going to sit here and say, "Oh, you're slagging him off," no, I have just judged Son up there by what I know he is capable of doing. And just because you're on the decline with your pace, your stamina, and that shouldn't really affect your finishing, in my opinion. And he has been terrible with the amount of chances he's had and his finishing compared to what we know Son has been capable of over the years.
100%. He's not.
That's understandable.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm
Yeah.
supposedly the Son apologist. I agree. I don't disagree with you there, Dan. I'm the Son apologist.
But it's understandable, Scott. Though, like I'm not sitting there saying he's crap or something. Like it's just understandable due to his age that he would decline. Just
Yeah.
because he was a
He
winner.
hasn't been good enough, and as much as
Yeah.
I'm supposedly
But I'm not-
defend him,
but what I'm saying
he
is
has
not
not been good
surprising.
enough this year.
Like, I'm not surprised, but I'm not saying it in like a bad way. I'm just saying
Of course not. It happened to Vertonghen. It happened to Toby. It happens to a lot of players.
It's a normal thing, right? That there are
Yeah.
like a few freaks in the world that don't go down with level when they age, right? Like fucking Messi, Ronaldo, Lewandowski, I don't know who else, right? But I mean in current era, right? I'm not talking about like, you know, even Lewandowski is going
Harry
like
Kane's
down,
still
right?
doing it. Kane's still doing it.
There's a difference.
Yeah,
though.
Kane is 1 year younger. than
There's a
Son,
reason to it though, because Kane doesn't rely on speed. Son
Yeah.
a very high majority of his game relies on pace and acceleration. As you get older, you lose it, and that's all there is to it. Whether people like it or not, you start losing it. Two perfect ones to look at: Teddy Sheringham and Kane. Neither of them have ever had pace, come love nor money. I mean, Sheringham was slower than fucking Kane, but his career went on for significantly longer because he did not rely on pace. Rooney, yeah, all right, he was quick enough, but he weren't exactly the quickest person out there. And his career was able to go on longer because he did not rely on pace. Michael Owen, however, the second his pace went, game over. His career was pretty much stopped. And then everywhere he went, he just was not capable of doing what he was because he relied on his pace so much. When Ronaldo, he started to lose his pace quite a lot. But what did he do? Where he had the knowledge to do it, he adapted his game and went more into the middle where he didn't have to do as much sprinting. And that's what good players do. And other players who don't rely on pace, they're not in the same sort of situation as the ones who purely rely on pace. And Son is one of them that without his pace, you've taken away easily 50% of his game.
Yep.
Son, and that's what happens with a player who
as you get older,
as a winger. Well, he started off as a winger.
It happened to Bale as well, really, in some ways, because when he came back,
Again,
he wasn't the same player. Yeah.
Again, Bale was a winger. Son was a winger.
Yeah,
Son
yeah.
kind of
yeah.
molded into a striker under Mourinho. Mourinho spotted something and said, "You know what? I'm going to get the best out of you two by playing you two as a front two," and it worked. It was whatever we say about Jose, he got the best out of our two best players. Son and Kane under Mourinho.
He kind of made that combination, really, if I'm being honest. Like before that, they had some sort of chemistry, I guess, but I think it's Jose got the best out of them, in my opinion.
Top managers need to work with top players, and that's what happens.
I think this is on Ange. I've got to be honest. Ange, the fact that Song is not playing well. Sorry to interrupt, but I think it's on Ange. Listen. I'm going to be straight up with you. Like, I don't know why people. I knew it's just status quo, but you're seeing the same things now. We win the game 5-0. Yeah. The fact that now Southampton sat their manager sums it up perfectly what Southampton are all about right now. You know what I mean? Because I had a feeling that it was going to get sacked because that was an awful performance of Southampton.
that was bad.
It was bad. You know what I mean? Like the thing is, I've just been on another show and one person just asked me, right, said, "Oh, are you going to smile about it?" And I was like, you know what I mean? You can't be real anymore. You can't be real anymore, can you? You can't be real anymore, can you?
I posted something about Southampton, because I watched the game, obviously, and after thinking back to that Derby team back in the day, who were fucking awful, and I was like, is this team worse than that Derby team? Because I was like, what the hell's going on? Yeah. And I was like, this Russell Martin plays open football. This is why this costing them. First reply, get called this name, that name, that name. So I just was like.
You know, actually, our commentators said a funny stat, right? 2 years ago, when Southampton went down, right? After 16 games, they had 12 points. Now they are on 5.
Wow.
Well, it's like the thing, we go and beat Man City 4-0. You can be a lot more hyped up about it. Yes, we all knew what was going to come with Spurs, whatever else. But at the end of the day, you could be a lot more like, yes, we just done City 4-0. Like it or lump it, whether they played shit or not. More than 3/4 of that team that we played against would still walk into our team blindfolded any day of the week. We just done City 4-0. Sweet. Right, let's now go on. Yeah, great. We just done Southampton 5-0, the worst team in England. And you look at them, they're probably one of the worst teams I've ever seen in the Premiership. And we've done them 5-0. I'm sorry, I'm not going to get too excited. 5-0, well done. Forget about it. Let's go to the next game. I can't get excited over this.
The only thing you can see is at the moment is that the main player that when we play well, we get these big scores. The main player that plays well for me is not Kulusevski, it's Maddison. When he's turning up,
you're right,
we mainly win. That's the only thing that's making me clear. And this is where Ange needs to earn his money, because you're absolutely spot on, Celios, about Mourinho. He got the best out of the best players that we have. Yeah, and now that's looked at saying, well, he had because now people are saying that Ange needs his players, right? Well, he's not a bad squad. Yeah, it's not a bad squad. Let's be honest, it's not a bad squad. It's not a great squad, but it's not a bad squad. Yeah, Mourinho had only 2 world-class players in that team. Well, 2 good, one world-class player and 1 great player in Son. Yeah, he got the best out of those players and played the whole team around them, and then we got results, right? This is what Ange needs to do with this team. But again, I don't believe he's going to do it, right? I don't believe he's going to do it, right? I'm not sold on him, right? Amarin today showed me why he's a coach and this guy's not a coach, right? What he did with Rashford and Garnacho, and what he said why they're not in the team is why he's a coach, right? Why he's got the mold of that's what Pep Guardiola would do. That's what Pochettino would do, right? And what I'm not seeing with Ange Postecoglou, because if you see what he's done with Werner, keeping on playing him, when you know mentally he's not there, he ain't there. You know he's not there, right? Right, and you can see it, right? He'll be out that team right now and put a youngster in right now, right? And he'll be better than having Werner in the team.
Yeah, by the way,
that's just me.
Yeah.
Sorry, I listen. I'm an old school guy. I'm like Dan here. Yeah, I'm like Dan here. Yeah, because Dan's not a stat guy. I know you're not a stat guy, Dan. Yeah, I know you just say how you see it. Yeah, I'm like Dan, Sava, Stelios. Those are the guys that I'm like, because I know what good football looks like. I know what a good player looks like. Sorry, I don't need stats to tell me that, bro. I'm being honest. Sorry, back to you still. I'm done. So I'm ruthless today.
Well, listen, I'm not a stats guy either, but the stats today. we did look at half time. Wow. Dominated possession, 16 shots to their 2, 8 on target to their 1, double the amount of passes. They had 2 clear-cut chances, though. We had 3, so we outdid them in that. We had 3 corners, they had none. We completely annihilated them. The stats backed up as well at half. But full time, though, we didn't really improve much. Only 2 more shots and only 1 more clear-cut chance and only 2 more corners. So there wasn't this big improvement.
I think the second half, we kind of just took off the gas and just...
I think Southampton tried harder as well. I think they kind of gave it a little bit more of a go.
I think we gave it a bit more room because we just kind of I don't know.
Yeah, but
I guess.
Yeah. I will stand by my opinion. I don't think you have to when you are 5-0 up, right? It's I completely don't mind that we let them have the ball in the second half, right? I especially because I will keep saying this, right? I'm not using this as an excuse, but it's a fact. We have an injury thing right now, right? Crisis, whatever you want to call it, right? So I think preserving energy on players is actually quite important, right? And they will do less running when they are sat in their own half, right? So I actually completely don't mind that, right? But I wanted to say 2 things about the game today, because I said that I have 2 negatives about the youngsters and Solanke, right? But I also want to say 2 positives to balance it out, right? I think one positive thing for me is the fact that even though the opposition was shit and whatever, right? I actually think it's important for teams to get those type of wins. I hope they use it as a bit of a confidence builder, because recent results, they haven't gone our way, and you could kind of see it in the team. They, a lot of head dropping and whatever. And as much as they probably know themselves that the opposition wasn't the greatest, I think, listen, it feels nice to win 5-0, I bet, right? That's one thing. And the second thing I really wanted to pick up was the away fans, because for the whole game, I couldn't stop hearing them chanting, leave you out chants and all that stuff.
Yeah,
that
was
really
good.
Great to hear. That was really good, right? So big up to every single fella that went out there and did their job, right?
It was easy to do because there was no Southampton fans. They all fucked up.
Right? But listen,
it was the perfect time, wasn't it?
At 4-0, the Sky Sports, the TV camera, sorry, they zoomed in outside the stadium, and all the fans were.
Yeah.
Did he hear the Levy out chants at the end of the? I heard him at the start, and then they changed to different.
It was all through the game. It was all through the game.
Do you know what? It's
good. I was worried it was the usual. We start off, and then once things start going good, we change quickly.
Mate, this is what I was trying to say to Ben and Sim on their channel the other day, that I think it's different this time. I can feel it's different with the fans towards the owners, because we're winning and they're singing "Leave You Out." Normally, that only happens when we're losing, but we're winning and they're singing that. So for me, in some ways, I need them to sack Ange so that everyone flips on Levy and Enoch. If they don't, because I think that will take everyone over the edge. But if they keep
the sacrificial lamb, right?
he has to be
Like literally,
the sacrificial Greek lamb chop.
I asked the question. I asked the question
As long as it's
today.
bloody when I cook it, it's fine.
Sacrificial souvlaki.
I asked the question today.
Yeah.
I asked the question today, and I wasn't
Sacrificial
trolling. I
kangaroo.
actually, I honestly asked the question today. Would you take Gary O'Neill right now?
Yeah, over Ange.
Would you,
Anyone over Ange?
Because the reason why I say it is he a better coach than Ange? Because that is the build breaker for me.
Yep.
He ain't a coach.
Yep.
That's the because I think we're better with coaches than managers. That's just me. And also the fact that Ange's coaching staff are not good enough.
Alex, I'll take you over Ange.
Yeah, but I respect you, Haz, because you always support me on my channel. Big up to you, yeah. But like, let's have a serious conversation here. You know
I'm
what
just
I mean?
saying that's how desperate I am to get this guy out. That's why I was saying it that way, mate. Like, I hate him. I want Ange to go like right now. I don't care we won 5-0. I just want him gone.
I would like someone that can coach but knows how to manage as well, and that's why I do like Areola at Bournemouth. I think he's a half decent balance. I think he can set his team up to win. He can also make them a tough proposition to beat, and I think he does develop players. So I'd like to see someone like that, whether it's him or that kind of a mold. Listen, Amorim, I would have taken Amorim. We were talking about. I wanted Arnie Slot. I said Arnie Slot 2 years ago. There are managers out there we can get. It's just how much do we want it? But again, the best they'll ever achieve is top 4 until the board either go or they change their ways. So they'll just
you can get the best.
They'll just bring back Poch vibes. They'll just bring a good manager just brings back Poch vibes. That's it.
Yeah, but the reason why I say is at the moment is that I just need somebody to improve the individuals, because I think there's people in that club at the moment. Burval. I don't think he's all that for me, Burval, at the moment, but he's young.
What did you think of him today? I didn't think that much of him.
I don't think he's that. I think he's okay.
Special today.
I think he's okay.
Yeah.
Burval got saved by the result because he was pretty poor. I thought
he's okay.
He'll get ignored because
he was okay. He looks like Beavis, doesn't he, with his haircut and that?
Yeah, he's okay. I don't.
You know what?
He's fantastic in this. I was like, what? No, he's not. He's okay.
He looked like an 18-year-old kid that has only played in Sweden before. That's what he that's what he looked like to me. Is an 18-year-old kid that had only played in Sweden.
He came on against Rangers, and I actually thought he looked good, like really good. But then tonight, I'm like, you know what do you see? It's clear to me he needs regular minutes in a team week in, week out. And if he's not going to get that, we're going to get this up and down kind of levels from him.
What was so good about him against Rangers, though? What was so good about? Because I didn't see it.
I thought he was tidy, man. I thought he kept the ball well. I thought he kept possession well. I thought he was good under pressure. I thought.
Is that just standard though, Stelios? That should be a standard thing for a midfielder, though, isn't it?
Well,
I'm being honest.
For a good midfielder, yeah.
I just don't really get it.
Listen, Dietrich came on the show a few days ago and told me the Southampton midfield's better than Spurs. I never saw that today, right? That's what Dietrich said.
I'll be honest with you. I saw Wharton against us when he played for Crystal Palace. I was more impressed with him. I'm being honest. That was a proper midfield performance.
Alex, I'm taking into account he's 18 years old, right, Berg? I'm taking that into account. I think for an 18-year-old, but then again, do you know what? You look at the youngsters coming out of Man United, Manu Kone and that Diallo. Is it Diallo today that scored the winner?
Yeah.
We haven't got any youngsters doing that.
They bought him. I think, Diallo.
They bought him. Well, we bought Bergvall. We bought Bergvall.
Yeah, but they bought him at young age. I mean, he's not like from Manchester area. He's not like a Mancunian or however you.
He's a young player.
Yeah, young player that they brought in.
Him, and I think, do I see Archie Graham Bergvall doing that? No. But I will say, I do think Mikey Moore is that. I do think Mikey Moore has got that in him, and he's younger. So, but yeah, look, Alex, I see your point. I do get your point.
By the way,
Bergvall just needs to play more games, same as Gray. Yes. Otherwise, they're just going to regress. If they don't play consistent games, then when they come on, they're going to look rusty as, and that was why I gave a bit of extra credit to Spence, because when he played today, and he hasn't played, he's probably played less than them, he did not look rusty on that pitch at any moment.
I agree with that.
Whereas Gray and Bergvall, you can see they're a bit rusty when they come on because they haven't played no consistent football whatsoever. It's not their fault. You're only human.
I actually think that like both Gray and Bergvall, I think they are like technically quite sound players in terms of like keeping the ball, like, you know, driving with it, right? I just feel like they have this like youthful naivety with them. I think they will like try this like risky pass, or, you know, or they will just misjudge a situation. And I think that that's something that comes with experience, right? I'm backing your point basically, Dan, right? I think that experience comes with like game time, right? So I think the most important thing for them too would be to play as many minutes as they can. And I'm like, listen, Gray is actually like, when you look at it, I know it's at center back, right? But at least he's getting like some minutes, right? Bergvall, I would preferably send him out on loan in January if we could find a team for him where he would play like literally like Alfie Devine right now in Belgium is playing like, you know, 70 minutes every week, right? And I think this, I'm not saying Alfie Devine will be the savior of this club, right? Whatever, right? But at least it's doing like good things for his development, right? And by the way, same thing with that Dorrington kid that came on today. I know it was only like 12 minutes or something, right? But he actually looked quite solid technically. But that one ridiculous pass that he made straight to like a Southampton player, passing out of the back, I was like, yeah, I can see you are like 18 and don't have much experience, right? Because it was like unprovoked. It's not like he was like pressed. It was just like a internal pressure mistake, right? You didn't really like have anyone on you, and you just misplaced the pass like that, right? So it was like, yes, you are technically good, but there are some things to iron out. But it comes with experience and age, right? That's how I see it.
Well, that's
and I look at Bergvall and Gray.
It was
like
his
that.
first Premiership game as well, wasn't it?
But that's the problem, though. That's the problem. When you start saying that, right? It was ridiculous what we did in the summer. Then that's the problem.
Oh yeah,
right? That is the ridiculous thing. Because the thing is, though, right? If we're going to say it's a youth project, you should have started these players from the start. You know what I mean? You know, I should have put the message out saying this is the start. This is what we're going to do, and that's what we're doing at the moment. Let's be honest here. The only reason why they're in the squad is because we've got injuries and people are not playing well, right?
But
the fact of the matter is, our transfer window was absolutely rubbish because we didn't get anybody experienced who were reliable for the youngsters to learn off. Because at the moment, that's where I've got my issues at the moment, and that's where we're going to fall down big time, massively.
If I can quickly like reply to a guy, right? Because Paul Pablo said, Michael, you are saying in experience and that dribbling guy similar age, you can see the difference, right? I also like pay attention to the fact that dribbling has been playing like every single minute for Southampton since the start of the season, right? Because he's like their primary target, talent, which is part of the thing I said, you need minutes, right? And let's not pretend that he didn't make any mistakes today. He's a brilliant talent. I think he can like be a great player, right? But let's not pretend that he was like, you know, like a Yamal or something, right? Yamal doesn't make mistakes, but he's a fucking freak, right? So like I'm saying that, listen, they need experience and they need game time, right? Whether they get it here or somewhere.
Does he stop?
Michael, that you froze.
Just to cut in then for Michael and to back him up, wouldn't we say that going to Southampton would be a team that we would like them playing at? Like, that's the difference, is Dibbling's getting this minutes at Southampton. If Bergvall and Gray were at Southampton, they'd probably be getting the minutes. And at Spurs, we have we should have different expectations than what's happening to a player at Southampton. So I think that kind of backs up what Michael's saying. These guys need regular minutes, and you can get that when you're playing at 5 points championship level Southampton that you can't do when you're at Spurs, who are trying to win something.
But the problem
is why we have said that they should be on loan.
Yeah,
you buy those players to put them on loan straight away, but you can't. But to go and spend 40 million on a player to go and send him out on loan sounds a bit Crazy. But then
Well,
to go and spend 40 million on a player and then only play him about 4 times in a position he don't even bloody play don't sound right either.
If you think about it, though, Arsenal spent 30 million on Saliba and loaned him for 2
they
years.
loaned him out, didn't they?
20,
We
I
spent-
think it was.
No, it was 30 million, I remember, because we weren't prepared to pay the money and loan him back.
Okay.
And we bought Gray for 40, but really it was 30 because we did an exchange deal with Rodon, and we're not prepared to do it. Listen, I'll be honest with you. For me, I don't know what to make of Bergvall or Gray because they just don't. I want to see them in their natural positions, playing for us week in, week out to make a decision. What I don't do is I don't buy this from Alexander. Gray was good, didn't put a foot wrong in defence. Give credit where it's due.
No,
and Julie's
no.
saying yes, Gray was outstanding. And the reason I disagree with both of them is, what did Gray have to do tonight? What did any of our players have to do tonight? Go
They
look
cut
at
a
Gray.
place in the second half.
Alex, go look at Gray against Galatasaray when he actually had something to do. It was a shit show.
He
was
terrible against Rangers as well.
Galatasaray.
He was terrible against Rangers as well. He wasn't that great against Rangers. No, I'm not being funny. He weren't that great against
What I'm
Rangers.
saying is Galatasaray actually had strikers that caused defenders problems. Right, show me what you can do. Gray drowned. But do I blame Gray? No, because he's a kid. But to say Gray was outstanding, Gray didn't put a foot wrong when he had nothing to do tonight because Southampton sacked their manager tonight. That's the level Southampton's at. So I don't think you can judge Spence tonight. I don't think you can judge Maddison tonight. Sarr. I don't think you can judge any Spurs player in that environment because for me, the test comes when the pressure's on. Like
I agree with what you're saying.
At 2-0, the game was over, Dan. All the pressure was off. If it's 0-0 or 1-1 against Man United with 30 minutes to go, let's see what they do then. When that pressure begins to kick in, let's see what happens then because that's how you test what a player's got.
If Amarin's smart, right? If he watches Tottenham games, he says keep it tight the first 10 minutes. Keep it tight the first 10 minutes because Tottenham will come at you straight away. Come at you straight away, really out the block straight away. They'll press you hard, right? Don't make any stupid mistakes, right? Okay, and then when they stop that momentum, that's when we've got them on the loose, right?
Look,
the only thing we've got on Man United, is that we can score goals.
Today,
right?
We could have had 8 people on that pitch and probably still done them 3-0. I thought they were that fucking terrible. Do you know what? I would say that has got to be the worst team I've seen play since I watched Spurs play Chelsea last week. I thought we were terrible.
Our standards as a fan base are so low that we will look at tonight's game and say, ha ha, where's the Ange doubters now? The Ange doubters silenced Stelios and Alex and everyone else. And shut you up tonight. Our standards are that low.
I went on that show yesterday.
We need a relegation team, right, with 1 win all season to silence me. Are you out of your minds?
Stelios,
that was just such.
Stelios, I was on that show. You know what show I was on, right? The big show, yeah, right. Yeah. And you should have seen the chat. Listen, I don't really care. Like it's all cool, yeah, right. But you should have seen the chat, yeah. They were saying, "Oh, you shut up! What you're so wrong. We don't need this sort of negativity and all that." And I'm like, "That's silly." Listen, I love it. I actually, so you know what? I love it. I absolutely love it. I was actually before there was a caller before, and you could see me in the chat. You could see me waiting to come on, and he was giving it all big one, and I was like, "Okay, get me on with this guy. Please get me on with this guy." I love to challenge people now because I'm so tired of it now. Trust me.
Anyone who wants to rate Spurs because we beat Southampton 5-0. Honestly needs to have their brain examined. If this is the level of analysis we're at to justify being a top team or good players.
It's what they do still. We are
finished.
We lose 6 games in a row and win 1 game, and that's it. Because it's all they take is 1. We win 1 game, and it's now they forget about the 6 games before this, and it's 1. I mean, we won this game, and I said at the start to go into 10th place in the league. And we're going to get overly excited. We're in 10th place in the league.
If we would have won this game 1-0, you wouldn't have seen people get as hyped. Yeah, it's the fact that we won it 5-0 5-0. At the end of the day, good game, good result. Well, very good result. 5-0 at the end of the day, whether it's the worst team in the world or not. Yeah, 5-0 is a good result. End of. Let's go to the next game and see where we go there. We have just played the worst team in the Premier League. They was absolutely so shocking today. I'm still trying to sit here and think of teams that I've actually seen worse since the Premier League has been there. And
that's why I said Derby. That
been
Derby
bad.
team back then was the only
But
one I could think
yeah,
about.
you
Yeah.
know what? I can go with that. But on the positive side, 5-0 is 5-0, and you can only get scores on who you play against. And 5-0 is 5-0. It was a good win, good result. Players played okay. Right, forget it. Go to the next one.
Yeah,
but
but
you're
Dan-
going to have people
Dan,
live on
but,
this one come hell and high water, aren't you? People are going to actually live on it and try and thrive on it.
But the thing is, if we beat Tamworth Town in the FA Cup 5-0, are we going to say brilliant result, good win, well done, This is what we're doing.
I'll still sit there and say 5-0. I'll say good result. Yeah, off to the next
result.
one.
Yeah, Dan, good result. Yes.
That's what I said with the Southampton one. 5-0, good result. Against another Premier League team, 5-0 is a very good result.
But what I'm hearing
it's
tonight isn't that.
Southampton.
But what I'm hearing tonight across other channels and in the chat is Ange Doubters silenced. Spence has arrived. Pape Sarr masterclass. Gray didn't put a foot wrong. I'm hearing hype on mediocre levels of opposition. We literally played the shittest team. This is the shittest team I've ever seen in the Premier League ever. This is the shittest Premier League team, and we're sitting.
I'm trying to keep it
aren't we
as half
brilliant?
positive as I can, because again,
be positive, saying we won.
Yeah, beating any Premier League team 5-0 is a very good result to me. Yeah, very good result. Not just a good result. Yeah,
not Southampton, man.
5-0 is 5-0 at the end of the day. But it is Southampton. It's one of the worst teams I've ever seen. Okay, now put it aside. Let's just get on with it. But people are going to try and thrive on this and live on it. I mean, I actually thought, now I'm going to come up with the more negative side of it. I actually thought Southampton were that piss poor today that you could have put us 6 on there at half time and we'd still won the fucking game 5-4. I thought it was absolutely. I laid there at half time. My wife walked in the room and said, "What are you doing?" I'm reading my book. Like, through the iPad. I've got my book on there. I was actually
where this was going down, what you're talking about there.
not over Tottenham, mate. Tottenham ain't done nothing for me to get like that, mate. And
listen,
I actually read a book at half time.
That's how entertained you were in it, reading a book. Listen, we all know what happens after we thump a team. We all know what comes next, right? I know what's coming next. I'm just going to wait. And by Sunday evening, I want all the Ange inners to come on the chat. Because listen, if what I think is coming in the next 7 days, I will be on We Are Tottenham TV on Sunday evening. I will be there, and I'll be fishing for friends in the chat.
We'll be there. We will be there.
It is what it is, but at the same time, like I said,
we never learn. We just don't learn.
It's like I say, it's like. Listen, I laugh now. I laugh at it now. You know what I mean? It's just like, the thing I don't like about people that have got a different opinion. They don't turn up. They don't turn up.
Will they run away?
They don't turn up. When you want to debate with them, it's like, oh no, they're hardly there. They don't turn up. It's like, well, we don't like you. Or we don't like Mr. Box Office. And I'm like, no. You're talking a lot. Come and talk to. Come and have a debate with me. Then you get respect. You get what I'm saying? So it's like I don't listen to these channels because the thing is that they don't turn up when you ask them to turn up, and you know what channel we're talking about, yeah? Because it's every Tuesday night with us, Matt and Marlon, yeah, the best guy on YouTube, by the way, and Marlon, the most underrated, right? When they
he tries to avoid and not say what channel it is, and then blatantly goes and says who does the channel.
They do not turn up. I'm sorry. I do call them out because I sit there and say, well, I'm here. Sales is here. Sava's here. Sava does a show every single Monday.
Oh.
So, you know what I mean? So I'm sorry. I'm not having it. I'm not having it, though, Stelios, man. You know what I mean?
So listen, I'll let everyone say
even We Are Tottenham TV turn up because when I called them out, they said, come on. Unfortunately, I had a day job to go to, so unfortunately I couldn't come on. So big up to the biggest channel on Tottenham's team, on Tottenham YouTube, set to turn up. So where are these other channels that say, "Oh, we don't want to talk. We don't want you on the channel"? Bottlers. That's what they are.
Like
Bottlers.
Tottenham, basically, really.
I'm sorry, I'm fed up with them, man. I've done this 4 years, 5 years now, bro. You know what I mean? They're trying to quieten us down, bro. They're not quieting me down, bro. Honestly.
I noticed.
I need to see. Do you know what impresses me? Do you know what genuinely impresses me? And I wanted to bring this up. I was watching Forest versus Villa yesterday, and do you know what? I just wonder, right? This guy, he's got less resources, so-called. He's got a lot of rejects at his club. He's got a lot of reject players at his club. Nottingham Forest are fourth in the Premier League, and they are doing bits at the moment. Will it last? I don't know, right? Probably not. But for now, he is outdoing Tottenham Hotspur. He's outdoing us. He's outdoing the money we spent and the so-called top manager we've got. Do you think Nuno deserved a bit more time at Spurs, or no, he had to go?
Can I tell you what the problem was, in my opinion, with Nuno? Personally, I think I was against him, so I want to say I lie what I wasn't. Yeah, I thought it was a bit out of his depth, but also at the same time, I think we didn't really help him either, because he came in obviously on the back of playing like a 5 at the back at Wolves, for example, and Paratici goes to what formation you're going to play, forced him to play a 4, and forced him to play a style that he didn't want to play. Right? Maybe if they let him pick, more players and pick a side in his image, let's say, maybe the results would have been better. But from what I remember, I know it's quite vague because it was a few years ago, they tried to make him play a certain style because obviously they wanted that attacking style back. So maybe if we let him pick more players and pick player style he wanted to play that plays to his strengths as a manager, maybe we'd have got different results. I don't know.
I personally think it was like a bad person at a bad time with bad context, but everything was shit at that point, right? Because if you remember, right, first of all, he came at the end of the window, so we are already done with our business, right? Second of all, the thing that you mentioned, Haswatch, which was like he plays 5 at the back, we forced him to play 4 at the back, right? I think another thing was the fact that we were just after, the whole Jose shit show and then Mason and whatever. And I think that the Kane was the obvious spotlight, the fact that he didn't really want to play for him. I just think there were other players in that squad who also weren't quite keen on playing for him. And I just felt like he didn't have and no, he doesn't have it either now, right? But I just think he didn't have that the name to just shut the fans up for a couple of months, right? Because we were looking at Nuno and we were like, who the F is this, right? He came from Wolves, he got them promoted from Championship. Who is that guy? We know he did well with Wolves, but it was he had no fame behind him, right? And also I think listen, as much as I appreciate everything that I said is true, right? But the results that he had were bloody shocking, right? It was 3-0 at home to Chelsea, 3-0 away at Arsenal, 3-0 to Palace, 2.5 games without a shot on target. It was really shocking. I think it was just a conundrum of a
he did have the Kane thing as well, like you said,
pile of shit, right? By the way, him getting sacked, right, on that Sunday night after we played United. That's when I started watching Spurs YouTube. And the first
what would you say it's harder to do, Mike? Yeah. Would you say it's harder to get Wolves promoted to the Premier League or harder to win the treble with Celtic in Scotland?
That's a good question, actually.
Say that again, Dan.
Wolves.
Is it harder? Is it harder and take a more manager capability to get Wolves promoted to the Premier League, or to go and do the treble with Celtic in the Scottish League?
The only thing I'm thinking about right now, right, is the fact that Wolves had that giant ass takeover. I think that their owners are Thai, I think, or from Malaysia or something. I think they are of Asian origin, maybe Chinese. I don't remember, right? But I think they were like financially way over the championship, and I felt like that their squad was much better. Because if you look at it, I think Nuno has like not the record points at all, but he's like top 3 record points in championship that season that he got them promoted, right? So I felt like they were like much better than the rest of the competition. But it doesn't take away from the fact that championship is one hell of a tough league, right? Yeah, it's
probably
like,
one of the toughest. Physically, it's got to be probably one of the toughest about. But if
also
you
like,
actually go and look at it, apart from Celtic and possibly Rangers, the rest of that Scottish league wouldn't even survive in our League Two.
Yeah, I think Celtic have a bigger advantage in the SPL than City do in the EPL. Like
all day long.
Neil Lennon won the treble. Brendan Rodgers has won the treble with Celtic. Like it's not people make out this.
Steven Gerrard went up there and won the
like he was
league for God's sake.
Steven Gerrard won the league there.
Yeah. I
Was
think
with
it's
Rangers,
here
though.
at Celtic because even with the advantage, like you said, the new owners at Wolves, like that championship is a hard league, man. Like they play a lot of games. The teams there. I don't know if Wolves. I think Wolves had an advantage, but Celtic has more.
When I
advantage
last looked,
than
the
anyone,
Championship
by far.
League is when I last looked, it might have changed now, was 9th in the world, whereas the Scottish Premier League is ranked under the MLS, for God's sake.
Yeah.
You know, just a funny bit of context, right? But we had this like Polish football channel. It's called English Espresso, right? And they cover championship, and their like slogan thing is the sixth league of Europe, right? Because like they don't like say it like really seriously, but their motto is like it's the 6th best league in Europe under like you know the top 5 leagues. And actually, you know, when sometimes when I watch championship, watch some matches, watch how ridiculous the scheduling is in that league, right? How many matches they play. I actually think like maybe not quality wise, but like to get out of that league, it's
physically,
that
is probably, I would say, physically and mentally, that Championship League we got is probably the hardest league in the world.
I'll say one thing about
skill in that.
Because it's one thing about Wolves, right? For me, since Nuno left Wolves, that club's gone to absolute shit. Since he left Wolves, that whole team club's gone to absolute shit. I think he was a good manager, man. I think he's a good manager. I think at Spurs, he joined us like most managers do in a mess. He had no signings. Nuno had no signings at Spurs. Did I want Nuno out? Yes. Why? Because the whole fucking thing collapsed. I also wanted Levy out. But looking at Nuno now, what he's doing at a club like Nottingham Forest. Do you know, I spoke to 2 Nottingham Forest fans yesterday, and this is what they said to me. In all the years we've supported Forest, they've never enjoyed it as much as this season. They've never loved following Forest as much as this year. Mate, it's the manager that's doing what's going on over there. He's got them united. He's got them balanced. They're cohesive. They're nothing spectacular, but fuck me, they're hard work, man. And do you know what? They've got goals in them. They've got goals in them. And
he's getting the best
they
out
got
of
a good defense as well. I mean, for me,
I don't fancy us when we go away to them after Wolves.
I think we're gonna lose.
Just before Dan comes in,
it's on Boxing
just
Day.
before Dan comes in, what about his coaching staff? Because I heard about his coaching staff.
Yeah.
He didn't have his coaching staff at Tottenham. He's got
No
his
manager
coaching
does.
staff at
You
Nottingham
must have Ryan Mason. You must have Ryan Mason.
The other thing
That's correct, Alex.
is
Easy, guys.
Defense.
Yeah,
Forest have got a very good defense. I think they work well together. And for me, people are going to say this is a bit of a Milenkovic, who they got from Fiorentina, who I'd been talking about for about 4 years. I wanted Spurs to get him. Go put him at Spurs. He's a better out-and-out defender than Van der Ven. He's a better out-and-out defender than Van der Ven. No, he's not as quick.
That's not a silly thing to say, though, Dan. That's not a silly thing to say.
No, but some people are going to take it. But the next bit I'm going to say as well, he'll give Romero a run for his money.
That's
he's
not
a
silly thing to say either.
very good defender.
He's right-footed,
more,
right?
But he also plays on the left-hand side.
One minute, hold on.
I think he scored the other week, didn't he?
1 minute. Is he a good defender, or
very?
Is he a good? Wait, hold on. You haven't heard the orbit, right? Is he a good defender? Oh, by the way, let me just super chat before I forget. Danny, big up. Spurs equals heroin. Fans keep coming back for more shit. big up, Danny. Listen, good to hear your voice as well, man. If you want to come on the show, message me. I'll send you a link
Opium. Yeah.
Right. Do you think he's a good defender, or do you think he's a good defender who's being coached by a coach that knows how to coach defenders, which is what I've been saying about Spurs? Because I think Romero's a good defender. I think Romero's a good defender who's getting fuck all coaching.
I agree with that totally. But I've been watching Milenkovic for this is the 5th year I've been watching him now.
And Van de Ven, all of them.
He was one of my favourite players in Italy for a long time, and I was surprised no one had even come and taken him. He just wasn't getting as bigged up as much as he should because he was only at Fiorentina. He is a very, very good defender. Physically, he's stronger than he actually looks. He can head the ball. He's got a bit of pace on him. He can tackle the ball brilliant. He can mark a man.
Don't you think Nottingham Forest's tactics get the best out of him?
Yes.
They don't expose him, put him under ridiculous pressure. And
yeah, I'm just saying he's a bloody good defender anyway, yeah? But you can make someone a better defender when you're at a club that's actually working on the defenders. But I think he's a very, very good defender that personally I think as an out-and-out defender, I would have him instead of Van de Ven. Purely on the other side where I haven't actually, like Sava has put it before, I don't think I've actually seen Van de Ven have to actually work as an out-and-out defender. The main thing you always see him do is legging it back 50 metres and saving our arse. He can't head the ball come love nor money. He's not exactly the most physical player either. I'm not saying he's a poor player, not at all. But I think Milenkovic is a bit of better defender overall than Van de Ven. Van de Ven is a good player. But without the pace, would we actually miss him so much? But I think he's a very good player.
What did I say a couple of weeks ago about Van de Ven? And everyone looked at me silly. Everyone looked at me silly a couple of weeks ago, and I said to you, I need to see him without the pace, right? Because I don't think he's a good defender. Right? He needs to learn how to defend. Right? And that's exactly what you just said there is what I said a few weeks ago, and people looked at me stupid.
But that's like saying I need to see Gareth Bale without pace.
No, but what I'm saying is that he needs to learn not to use his pace a lot of the time.
You just don't want to see him in the high line, Alex. Basically, that's what.
Yeah, well, he needs to be more.
Listen, Alex, like I think the issue is right that in this system we won't see him without the pace because he has to use the pace because he's on the top level, right? I think this is the issue, right? Because I even want to bring it back to like a discussion we had a year ago with like Stefan on North London is ours, right? Like because we are arguing which pairing is better after the 10 games we had, right? Van de Ven or Romero or Saliba and Gabriel, right? And I think I said something along the lines that I think if you took Saliba and Gabriel and put them in this system of ours, I think they would struggle, right? Not because they are bad defenders; they are fucking amazing defenders, right? I just think this system fucks you over defensively. Purely, you will concede goals because of how open the system is, right? And I also think if you took Van de Ven and Romero and put them in the Arsenal side with the left back and right back they have, with Partey and Rice in front of them, I think you would see different players, right? So I think I like in this system, right? As long as it is here, I think the best that this system can do is to have one speedster like Van de Ven. We need that recovery pace, and one like proper defender like Romero, right? Because like I think Romero is overall like a better defender than Van de Ven in terms of like scooping the ball from opponent's feet and all that stuff, right? But we have to have Van de Ven with this system, right? Because Romero can do what Van de Ven does, right? I that's how I look at it, right? So
he carries the system.
When I look at a defender, I don't look at a player that runs 100 meters lightning speed. When I look at a defender, I'm not really looking at the pace as such. That's not really how you look at a defender. That's not the first thing you look for in a defender. No, you don't want him slow as, but how many people actually go to get a defender because he can run fast? No, you want your defender to have a bit of muscle on him. You want him to head the ball. You want him to be able to tackle. You want him to even be able to play out with the ball. You want him to do certain things. But the thing that a lot of people that you don't look on his defender is how quick does he do 100 meters. Whereas in this system, you need a defender that can do the 100 meters double quick. It is the system. I totally agree with you.
And most top defenders see the problem so that they don't have to sprint. You want your top defender to stop the problem before you have to sprint back and make that tackle, because if you miss it, which you can do, you're hooped, right? And I think going back to Milinkovic quickly, I was somebody who vocally said I didn't want Nuno. I wasn't happy with Nuno. But the one thing I will say is that he doesn't do anything stupid. And it sounds crazy that we have to say that about a manager. But Dan said he brought in Milinkovic. He plays him how he needs to be played. He plays him to his strength, and he doesn't ask him to do things that he shouldn't ask him to do. And at this point with Ange, I just want a manager to come in and doesn't do anything stupid. That would be nice, where we're not shaking our heads or wondering whether the manager's putting us down. And I don't think Nuno is great, but you can see what he's done. At Wolves, they said he did well for what he had. At Forest, he's obviously doing well for what he has. He doesn't put guys out. He doesn't ask them to do things that don't make sense. And I think that's Milinkovic is why he's doing well. He's a quality player. And when you ask him to do all the things that he's quality at, he's going to be a standout player that impresses you. And that's what Nuno's done great with Forest and with Milinkovic in particular.
Spot on. I want to bring in Ian. Ian, you went to the game today. I've got to say, first of all, well done to you and all the away fans. Before, during, and after we heard it, the Levy out chants, man. Honestly, it's one thing doing it when we're losing, but when we're winning and you still do it, man, it was music to my ears. So well done to you guys, man. All the away fans giving it large. The Levy out.
You heard the Kulusevski song?
Yeah.
Yeah, we said we don't like that one. We said we don't like that one.
Okay.
I think it was brilliant. I think it was like
okay. Michael from Poland, he likes it.
You didn't like that? You didn't like the Kulusevski? I mean, they were singing it the whole game, weren't they?
I think the Levy out message gets lost in it. If I'm honest with you,
I think so.
Yeah, okay. It's too much. It's overkill. It's a bit pantomime. But, yeah, how was it? How was the game for you?
How was the game for me? We did a job, didn't we? We went there. What was pleasing was that he started with Bergvall and he started with Spence. I mean, Spence made Ange look a mug within 1 minute. What a start. I mean, that's how you start a game when someone's left you out for 3 months. I mean,
yeah, that was a good ball. It was a good ball.
How good from Spence was that? And what a ball!
Yeah, we spoke about it earlier. It was a good ball.
What a ball to Maddison. I think that Southampton are obviously poor, but we did a job. The best team in the country are Liverpool by a mile this season. They struggled to a 3-2 win there. Don't know how, but we went out there. We did a job and we just killed them. And the game, half time was finished. What a finish from Maddison for that 5th goal.
Yeah,
he done well there.
There's 2 great assists from Sonny and a lovely finish as well. I thought, we did a job. They all did okay. At the end of the day, you can only beat the team that's in front of you, and you go away and you win 5-0. They did a job. Second half was just we played 5 games in 15 days. We've got another 4 in the next 2 weeks. They didn't need to go mad second half. That was fine. They just knocked the ball around. They took their time. The only worry is, were Udogie and Spence injured?
Udogie went off with some kind of injury. Spence, we think he was just tired.
So, by the way, I don't know if you've seen on Udogie, right? Ange said in the post-game press conference that he felt like something and he wanted to continue, but they took him off to prevent it, right? So
there's no one left,
right? Yeah. No, but he wanted to play, right, Udogie. So I don't think it was maybe that bad. I don't know. Maybe we will see him against United. I don't think he was injured.
Do you remember when Bukaria wanted to keep playing against Man City?
Yeah, and he played 60 minutes with a broken foot, right? So
Ian, can I ask you something?
You're right. Southampton were that poor today. They even made Gray look good today in defence. They were that bad. They made Gray look good.
Do you know, he made one good tackle. Apart from that, all he had to do was play 5, 10, 20-yard passes. That's all he had to do.
He had nothing to do. Ian, do you know that the Southampton manager has been sacked tonight?
Yes, I heard. We heard on the way home he's gone.
Yeah, he got sacked.
That's still in 24 hours, isn't it? With Gary O'Neill. He's gone as well.
See, I said, do you know what? I knew this. On the Wheel Tottenham TV when I called in the other night, I said, we've got I said, I think we'll beat Southampton, regardless of how we're playing. I think we beat them. I never thought we'd smash them, but I had a feeling we'd beat them. I said, let's see what happens against United. Good luck trying to call that one. I think Liverpool beat us. I think Forest away, I don't see us winning it. And I said, if Wolves sack their manager and they get a new guy in, I don't want to play Wolves. And now that's going to happen. So I'm not looking forward to that Wolves game now because I think they're going to get that manager that just sorts it out and just makes them just a bit more rigid. But
maybe link with that Vitor Pereira guy. Is that his name? Vitor Pereira?
They just need to change. You know what? When it gets that bad, you've got to change it. Otherwise, the players have checked out, man. They're gone.
Looking at the next 4 games still. I
want to ask them first. No, Ian, let me ask them first. I want to ask them first because you were at the game. Well, because we'll get into we'll talk about the games coming up next because I want to talk about Man United. But we were saying earlier how at 5-0, we would have liked to have seen, especially after the first 10 minutes of the second half, when we knew there was no comeback. We would like to have seen Austin come on, Dorrington come on, and Lancashire come on and get at least minimum 30 minutes each. It was a golden opportunity against a team that are relegated. They were finished. They're not going to do anything. Are you disappointed that Ange didn't do that?
The one substitution I'm disappointed about that he didn't make was when Udogie went off, and I would have kept Spence at right back, and I would have brought Mason King on at left back because I've heard some really good things about this kid at under 21 level, and I would have liked to have seen him at left back. You know, we were 2 up, 3 up, 4 up. I mean, the game was dead.
5-0. It was 5-0.
5-0 when Udogie went off.
I'm talking more about half time when it was 5-0. Would you not have given the youngsters?
Probably.
Because Lancashire came on with 8 minutes to go, and Dorrington came on with 13 minutes to go.
You see, I didn't think we needed to keep Solanke on for 80 minutes. That was pointless. You know, bring Lancashire on, keep the Solanke. We got 3 tough games coming up in the next 11 days. It didn't make sense, to be honest. You know.
Yeah, I agree. I think Lancashire was the one I really would have liked to see more time for. I think this was a perfect chance to have him come on. He would have been the one. It would have been nice to see for sure. What was nice
to have seen. Yes, I did drive there, and we got out very quickly. God knows where we parked. We ended up. It's always a nightmare parking in Southampton.
Well, you only had to dodge the Spurs fans, didn't you? Because Southampton ones had already gone, innit?
and they took us out a different route that we normally take, and it was very, very quick. And literally within 12, 13 minutes, we were on the M27. So it was a nice, easy journey back.
No traffic or nothing.
No, not really. What would have been nice? What was nice was seeing on the pitch at the final whistle, seeing Bergvale, Gray, Dorrington, and Lancashire, because you know the kids have got to be given a chance, and you know
But were they given a chance though? Was Lancashire given a chance today? 8 minutes.
Not really. But at least he got some minutes. It all helps still. It all helps these kids.
I think 5.
Dorrington had what, 20 minutes?
What better chance are you going to get this season to give kids 30 to 40?
I know.
You're not going to get a better chance than that.
I know. Maybe Ipswich away, we might be 3 up, and I don't know.
If Lancashire came on tonight,
that's straightforward, really.
If Lancashire came on tonight for 30 minutes and scored a goal or 2,
yeah,
that's what would have done him the world of good. Instead, he comes on for 8 minutes to do what? Stretch his legs.
Literally, I can't see how 8 minutes on the pitch is going to do anybody any mental or physical favours.
It's bollocks. Him starting. Did he start away at Galatasaray?
Yes, he did.
Now he
scored, and he scored before he got sent off.
Oh yeah, he got sent off. Well, that didn't do him good, but the goal and starting would have done him the world of good.
I mean, Dorrington was on in 77. Yeah, Lancashire 82.
Yep. So I'm saying they hardly got a run out. Someone in the comments said, "Why not give Austin half a game?" And I thought, that's not a bad shout. Give Austin half a game. Why not?
You're not going to get a better chance to do that than today.
I hear what you're saying, but 5-0 It was done.
You know, one thing with like Austin and subbing a goalie, because we didn't have another goalie on the pitch, right? You risk like that new goalie getting injured, and you cannot sub a goalie in, right?
But Pape
I know,
goal.
I know.
Yeah,
I know
against
it's nitpicking.
Brighton.
I know it's
5
nitpicking.
million.
I know it's
a brain
nitpicking.
goal.
Right?
He's not played there yet.
Yeah, per grain goal. He hasn't done that one.
Harry
Yeah.
Kane
Great
did.
job.
I don't think he's confident in youngsters at the moment. I don't think he's really confident with those youngsters.
He's not right, he tells,
Lancashire. I still think Bilbao has got a long way to go.
But 5-0 up, you're not confident on the players.
Well,
on the
no.
bench.
Listen. I agree with you, but I'm just saying at the moment. I just looking at what Ange is like, right? And it's been a year and a half now, right? I don't see that he's got belief in these youngsters. Like for
You're
me,
right. Alex.
when you see the things that we went through with Martin Yole, he wasn't didn't have any intention to play the youngsters. Harry Redknapp a little bit. Pochettino definitely. You know what I mean? So for me, I doubt he rates the youngsters as far as I'm concerned.
So basically what you're saying is Ange has no faith in his project.
Yeah, I don't think he does, because you'd be playing them, Dan.
I agree.
You'd be playing them.
I know. I agree.
You know what I mean? I see Newcastle when they had the injury run, they had no qualms of putting youngsters in. Had no qualms.
But Ange says it's a youth project, but he doesn't trust his youth.
Well, this is why I don't believe in the manager. That's why I don't believe in the manager. That's why I don't believe in the manager.
It's hardly a youth project, is it?
Can I be like nitpicky again, right? But when Newcastle had their like injury crisis, right? The only reason they put in youngsters because there was no one else to play.
Well, still putting them in though.
And and we did put in Gray and Bergwall, right?
Remember
Technically,
yeah,
but
if you want to be like nitpicky,
Newcastle wasn't sold as Project Youth.
Oh yeah, I get that point, right? But I'm saying that we did play 2 youngsters technically today. I know it's like a different circumstance and whatever, right? But
he had no choice.
But we know it's not Project.
Yeah, he had no choice.
Project
Neither had Newcastle, right?
Newcastle, I didn't hear any moaning from them about injuries. I didn't hear any moaning from their manager. They made they didn't make a big deal about it. They just got on with it. Right?
I'm not really agreeing. Eddie Howe bitches a lot in the.
Well, yeah, but the fact is, he still got on with it and tried to get the best out of youngsters. And let's be honest here, some of the youngsters are better than Arsenal youngsters. I've got to be honest. He actually tried to help them. And the only reason why they've got less youngsters right now is that they had to sell them off because of their FFP. Right? So, for me, again, it goes back on the coach. What is he doing to develop these youngsters? That's what my issue is.
Develop
at the moment,
anyone.
because that is exactly what that's where the telling thing is for me. That's a deal breaker for me. That is the deal breaker for me.
For me,
if you put a Gary O'Neill in this, listen, I'm not saying I want him, but there are people out there are saying that they don't want him on this panel right now.
Alex, you want him.
No, I don't want him. No, I'm not saying I don't.
Sounds like you want him badly, Alex.
I'm asking the question because he's available right now. I could say the same thing with Graham Potter at the moment.
But hold on, Alex.
Available.
Alex, you said, do we want, these 2 different questions. So do I want Gary O'Neill? No. Do I want Gary Neal over Ange? Yes. I don't want Gary O'Neill, but he's better than Ange. That's the difference.
That's insane. I don't want him. I think we just need not Pochettino, but what Poch could do is he could manage, but he could develop players. So he was a coach. Look, Pep's the best coach stroke manager. He does both. Alex Ferguson wasn't a great coach. He was a phenomenal manager, and he employed good coaches, high quality coaches, right? So
that's why he lasts so long. That's why he lasts so long. So
I think the problem with us is that we want to replicate Poch. I know it sounds messed up. We want to replicate Poch, and that's the problem.
But a lot of the modern day managers. Yeah, go on. Sorry, go on.
We're trying to create something new. Everyone's labelled and just like Poch. No one like Poch.
There's nothing like Poch.
Nothing like
the thing
Poch.
is, top modern day managers are managers stroke coaches now. That is the kind of blueprint. A lot of these young managers are excellent coaches who are developing their managerial skill set to become really good managers, but they can also develop players. For me, I don't look at Ange and think this is a really good coach. I think we've
He's
got
awful.
someone that can manage. He knows how to manage, but only his way. So he lacks the adaptability. But in terms of coaching, developing the individuals, I think man management, he's probably good. He probably puts
That's
real
what I say. He's a good man
positive,
manager.
you can do it attitude into the players. But developing the ability and developing the players, I don't want to say.
Intelligence, is that what you're saying?
I don't think we actually.
I don't think for intelligence. I mean, developing the players, taking them from having good technique to having good skill, which means they can do it against opponents. I don't look at him and think, yeah, because if he could develop technique into skill, Brennan Johnson would be a far better dribbler than what we're seeing right now. Brennan Johnson will be a different player. For me, Brennan Johnson hasn't evolved. Brennan Johnson's just good for this system. Can you make that run in at the back post and get that tap in? Yes, you can. But as a player, he hasn't evolved, in my opinion. I don't think he has.
Still, I agree.
I don't
Still, I
think it's
agree.
about
What
being a manager anymore. There aren't many managers out there anymore, really. What teams really need a manager anymore? It is all down to being a coach now, the way I see it. Managers
you
have done
need
enough.
to manage because tactically you got to adapt if it's not going right. Like Maresca, look, he's second in the league.
Yeah, but a coach can do all that. I mean, I suppose what
no, a
I'm
coach
doing
can't.
is-
And a coach can't. A coach can't.
Poch did it.
Yeah, he
No,
would have been.
but he was a good manager as well. He was a manager stroke coach.
This is what I'm saying. We're trying to rep to
Had we had an owner with half a football brain, with half a clue, with all these kids coming through, he would have brought Pochettino in. He would have been absolutely perfect because we got a great set of kids coming through, and they need to be nurtured and brought through. This is the best set we've had since the Barnby and Kasky days of the early 90s.
Nurtured. You make it sound like you just found him in the back of the field or something.
I'm serious. It really is, Dan.
Dan,
I think we're seeing someone like Martin
No.
Yard. I know we said Poch, but for me, we need someone like Martin Yard because Martin Yard at least gave these youngsters a chance. Sorry, like Bergvall. If we had someone like Bergvall back in the day, he played them straight away. He dealt with Resto Ziegler, Bale, Lennon. I could rank off like a load of names. First team football, we'd sign them and put them straight in. But
Dan,
don't do
you know,
that.
you know when you talk about
Rob Frank, what is he talking about? No, we don't, Ian. Our kids stink. Have you been watching the kids, Rob? Go away and
No,
watch
it's
the
right. I mean,
kids.
there's no.
Go away and watch the kids and then come back because I watched them last year in the Youth Cup and various under-21 games. We've got some great kids coming through. Seriously. Come back with something behind comments like that. Don't just chuck stuff out like that because that's
They
nonsense.
just need nurturing.
Bloody nonsense.
There's no reason. What he's saying is there's no proof that that's going to do anything, right? Like we don't have any good kids in our squad right now that are going to show us anything. The closest is Mikey Moore, and he's played.
No, he actually said they stink.
70 minutes in the.
He said they stink.
70 minutes.
You
If we don't have any.
You have got
They
kids.
haven't been nurtured very well then, have they?
You've got
There's
kids.
still
Give
a
them a
big
chance.
step in for them to take. A big
Give these
step.
kids a chance. They'll come through. I'm telling you.
I-
Or let's stick with the shit we've been watching for the last few months. Yeah, let's just stick with that rubbish.
Can I come
But
back
why is
to
that
this
the
coach
option?
manager thing? I want to come back on this coach manager thing. When I did all my badges, after about 8 years, I realized as a coach, I was okay. Right? I could take a player, I could develop them, but I would never get them to that point of where they'd be brilliant. But as a manager, I realized, give me a group of players, and I'll put a team on the pitch that can compete. And during a game, I could see things happening, and I could adapt to try and get the win. So I personally, just my journey, I realized I'm a much better manager than what I am a coach. So then I got coaches that were much better than me to try and develop the players to make them better for my team. And I think there's managers like that. Then I think there's managers that aren't actually very good at managing. They don't see it and know what to do when it's not going right, but they're really good at developing top players into better individuals. And they hope that all these individuals naturally together, the sum of all the parts will be better. Then you've got what I call the Peps. The Poch. I don't want to put Poch in Pep's category, but he's not. But I'm putting him in that bracket in the sense of then you've got the Poches, the Peps. I think Amorims, where maybe I don't know enough about Klopp, but probably Klopp, where they can actually develop players into really good players and they can manage them as a group in a match scenario. That's what Spurs need. Spurs need that guy because that's the kind of person that's going to work with the kind of players we sign. And that's why I think Poch did so well. Plus, we signed better players. Let's have it right, yeah. We had fucking better players.
I get where you're coming from.
He made Danny Rose better. He made Walker better. He made Son better. He made Harry Kane better. He made Danny. Yeah,
I think it's just the way
players better. He developed them.
I look on a manager and a coach these days. It's more down to the way I look at it. I mean, because when a manager used to be a manager, he was a manager, and he managed the club and what goes on. Basically, these days you have to be more of a coach than you do a manager. Is the way I see it. But I totally get where you're coming from. It's just looking on it in a different perspective.
You know, basically. You're right. I think nowadays you need to be able to coach really well because you know there's people in clubs like in the
because managers don't have to worry about finances now. That all gets done for them. Whereas if you go back quite a while, managers had to deal with finance, had to deal with players, had to deal with anything because they were the manager.
Academy, Dan, if you go into any top academy, you'll find lots and lots of coaches, some brilliant coaches, some all right, they've just somehow got in. And what they do is they develop players because at the academy level, they don't care about the win. It's can we develop the individual player so that of the 18 youngsters that I'm coaching, can one or two get into that first team? Because if one or two can, I've done my job as a coach. I've developed you from here to that. They don't care about the win. They don't care about the results. Okay, they don't set up to lose. They set the team up to win because you've got to learn to win. Their main aim is if Spurs go to Germany for a cup tournament, under 18, so Spurs versus Dortmund versus Bayern Munich versus PSG in a tournament, under 18 tournament. At the end of the tournament, the head coaches, when they pick up the phone to the coaches that have gone out to Germany, they're not going to ask who won. They're going to say, who was the best player on the pitch? Which player shone? That's the question they ask first because it's about development. That's what coaches focus on. Managers, it's who won. Why did we win? Why did we lose? That's the manager.
Because Poch blatantly
we need someone that can do both. Spurs need someone that can do both. And I think Ange, this is where I agree so much with Alex on this. I don't think he's a good coach.
No, nor do I. But
he's not even a good manager either.
He blatantly stood there and he blatantly said, I am not a manager. Poch blatantly said, I am not a manager, I am a coach.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
I think we run into a problem where I think it's like using the same word for two different things. I think we are using like the word manager to describe like managing the game, but also manager as managing a club, right? And I think
to me that's like, more of a coach managing.
Pochettino like meant it more as I'm not like a manager of a club. Like ask me about the team, how the team plays, how I coach players and whatever, right? And don't ask me about like the transfer policy and all that stuff because that's not my job, right? And but because, for example, I think that Jose in that like that second definition of manager, as in like managing the game, I think Jose is one of the top ever, right? In terms of the like best. Actually spotting, you know, best. What needs to change on the pitch. Yeah, the best, you know, second best.
No one has been
however you want to go. Yeah. But I think Jose didn't coach players really, right? He had the team that coached players.
I agree with you, Michael.
Right?
Yeah.
And Jose was like, an elite manager. Elite.
Yeah, that's elite my point, manager. Right? And Pochettino was more like a really fucking good coach, right? Managerial thing that's up for anyone to decide, right? But I think
he was lacking a bit.
Yeah, but we need. And by the way, I think it's like an overall trend in football that when you look at the better teams in Europe, they actually have a guy who can do both the managing of the team on the pitch, but also like coaching the players. Yeah, like Gasperini is fucking top class, mate. Like,
yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. It's just an old school way of looking at it, I suppose. Yeah. Whereas I looked on as a manager, it's same word to use for different things. I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, that's why I don't like.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, he was very good as well. He was very good with the youngsters. He was.
He was Shaw's assistant. I remember.
Chris Ramsey was a top draw coach. He developed Kane. He had a massive. He developed Eze at QPR. He played a big part in these. He is a top coach, but As soon as he became assistant manager to Sherwood, shit. As soon as he became the manager, I think it was academy head, or he had a senior role at QPR where he was more management.
I remember.
They've got rid of him. They've got rid of him. That's a prime example of someone who is brilliant at coaching, knows how to make a player go from 6 to 7 to 8 to 10, but put him in a management role, doesn't quite get it. It's just not, you know what I mean?
But going on what Michael said about Jose, I remember this. Like Jose expected the players, for example, to keep their own fitness. He wasn't like on the training ground with them saying, "Look, you need to do this many sprints." Like he had that expectation. Whilst Poch, I think he was very close to the players because he was coaching them more in that sense.
That's why your coaching staff is so important. That's why your coaching staff is so important. And again, this is what is against Ange. Look at the coaching staff he's got at the moment.
Mason.
Alex Ferguson wouldn't have that coaching staff. Klopp would not have that coaching staff. You get what I'm saying? Mourinho would not have that coaching staff. You know what I mean?
Southampton would not have that coaching staff.
They just sit. They'll sit. He would sit there and say, "You having a laugh? I'm not teaching you guys how to do your apprenticeships here. No, I want proper coaches. You know what I mean? Because I ain't here to mess about." But Ange is like, "Oh, we need coaches that can learn, just nurture." You get what I'm saying? And this is why we're so inconsistent. Because we've got
Alex,
bang average coaches.
Good manager or even a good coach.
Huh?
Personally. Ange's not even a good manager or a good coach.
I can tend to agree with you, but at the moment, for me, that's my deal breaker at the moment. That's why I'm looking at other coaches, because I can't keep on bashing this manager anymore. Personally, I can't do it anymore. You know what I mean? 'Cause it's getting boring.
Aside from the tactics, for me, once players are out on the pitch, the big problem for me lies in the fact we've got no leaders.
Agreed.
That's
been saying that so many times.
It's enormous.
And said he was going to develop them, didn't he?
Well, she's mad.
Didn't Ange also say that what's it? He needs players to be strong and up for the fight now. Where it's like, hang on a minute, you said you don't need no leaders. You said you're going to make them. Same as he had to bring up the subject.
Dan, I do think this season we've been tough on Ange, quite rightly, but I do think the players have got away with murder.
Yeah, to an extent, I'll agree with that.
I really think they have, because.
What did you think? Sorry, Ian, what did you think about? Just a question I'll ask everyone on this, yeah, because I haven't got everyone's opinion on this. I thought what he'd done to Timo Werner the other day was bang out a line. I thought it was well below the belt, yeah.
He lost it.
Now, we all know he's a shit player. We all know that, yeah. But for me, Son has been every bit as shit as Werner has over time, yeah, not done his job. Okay, he scores a goal here and now. But shouldn't he have had a bollocking here and there? Shouldn't Maddison have had a bollocking here and there? Couldn't he have picked out about 5 players in that game that he could have grilled for being just as poor as Werner? But he only goes and picks on the one that he knows everybody dislikes.
Dan, I had this conversation.
Only 2 days before, he also stated as, I don't go at players' base. What was his words?
I never criticise the player publicly or something like that.
And then goes and does that.
Ange contradicts himself. What a surprise.
In answer to that, Dan, I've had various conversations with a lot of people, starting with this Rangers fan that came and joined us in the hotel on Thursday night after the match. And it was completely out of order. You don't throw one player under the bus, the way he did. Someone actually said, he was asked a question specifically about Werner, not about anybody else. If I'd have been Ange, I'd have just said, look, I took him off at half-time. Anything I've got to say to him will be done behind closed doors. Now, by saying that, you've given enough inference, you've given enough, you've insinuated enough to the reporter that he knows how you're thinking without throwing the guy under the bus.
On the other side, though,
that's all you had to say.
I ain't got no problem with a manager throwing someone under the bus when they deserve it. Because all the players expect the manager or whoever to stand there and kiss their ass and blow sunshine up their trumpet and that when they're playing well, and I point them out. So, well, sorry, if you're playing piss poor as well, chuck him under the bus, mate. No problem. He's earning 50 grand to 100 grand a week. Deal with it. If you can't get your act together, mate, you're in the wrong bloody job. You don't just get kisses and cuddles everywhere in life. And with that, the problem I had with it is he was well within his right to call Timo out. He was crap. But he should have called out several other players as well at the same time. not just focused on one. But then the fact that the way he's gone and contradicted himself as well, and how crap he has been as a manager for the past how long, I definitely thought that was a bit raw the way he did it. But I've got nothing wrong with someone calling out a player or whatever. I think a few more of them need to actually get called out publicly. Because I do think a few of our players get away with murder, basically.
I think they have this season. You know, we were talking on this show the other week, and I said, how many players could you look at the first whistle and guarantee you're going to get a 7 out of 10? And everybody said hardly anybody. Well, that's why we're mid-table. That's why players are not. That's why the players are not as good as we all think they are.
There's a lot more that I would say would give me a 7 out of 10 if we had a different manager than Ange, though.
Mhm.
There's a lot of players that would give us a 7 out of 10 if we had a proper manager. The biggest
I think we sold the wrong players. I still stick by what I said. I think we sold the wrong players at the moment, based on what we're seeing right now. Right, and it's embarrassing me saying it again. It's embarrassing me saying it again. You know what I mean? Because I've gone on this channel and I've said it already. I've got to have some humble pie. I slated Højbjerg so much. But to be honest with you, I would have taken Højbjerg over Bentancur all day long and Basuma all day long.
Bentancur.
Yeah, because I'm sorry, Bentancur. He's for all the things that he's done at Juventus, he's been an absolute disappointment for me.
I think what Alex is trying to say is that what you would get off Højbjerg is a lot more aggression on the pitch, a lot more give it his all 24/7 sort of thing. Because that's one thing you can't take away from Højbjerg. Whether he got it right or wrong, he always give it 110%.
Absolutely. But Alex, he wanted to go. He didn't want to stay around and be a bit.
No, I'm not. Listen. It's just based. Listen,
wasn't a choice, was it?
Yeah, I understand that, but at the moment, the players that have stayed at the moment, right? I've got to be honest. Højbjerg would have given me more than some of these players right now. You know what I mean? I can't have a go. Listen, even though I don't rate the player, Kulusevski, he has stood up, right? He gives his all. Regardless, he might not have a good game, but he gives his all. Yeah. Whether I rate him up here, it's down to opinion. Sorry, I don't rate him as much. That's down to opinion.
Came through Thursday when he came on, didn't he?
Yeah, but still, I don't rate him as much as what other people do. You know what I mean? I'm allowed to say that. That's what I'm saying. But I can give him
even Johnson came on today and he looked bad. Johnson came on and actually looked bad against Southampton.
Fair enough, by the way.
I must tell you something. I didn't see the substitution at half time. And when he got booked for kicking the ball away, you just realised he was actually on the pitch. I didn't even know he was on the pitch.
And you were like, you dickhead, why did you have to go and do that? We was 5-0 up.
I know.
15
that was half an hour. Been on 15 minutes.
He was terrible. You didn't even know he was on the bloody pitch, and we were playing Southampton, winning 5-0. I think that just about says it all.
By the way, Dan, if I can also answer your question, right? About Werner, I personally think he was at the point after Rangers where we see managers do it often, right? Where it's at a certain point when it's not going their way. It's not like a last resort thing, but they often resort to calling out players. And I think it's just about choosing which one to call out, right? Or a group of players or whatever. And honestly, I think he made a choice, a calculated choice based on the fact that Werner is not a permanent player and he's only on loan, right? So
he took the weak shot, basically.
Yeah, basically, right? In case it all went to hell after that comment, and Werner was like, "What the fuck? Why did you call me out?" and whatever, right? He can just F him off in the January transfer window, right?
Yeah.
Just cancel the loan, and the problem is gone, right? Whereas if he called out Maddison or Son, which is captain and vice captain, where I agree with you that they deserve some calling out for some of the performances. I think if he fell out with them by calling them out in the presser, then it's then it's gone, right? Because when that changing room fully like goes against you because you call them out, then it's over, right? He will lose his job.
I agree.
Because we know
So
that-
basically,
yeah,
it was a cheap. So basically, it was a cheap, easy shot that he knew he'd get no retraction from it as such, no reactions from it.
But you know what, Dan?
For me, he should be calling out Son and Maddison more than Werner because they're meant to be our bloody captain and vice captain. And for me, when your captain comes on and don't do his bloody job properly, and he's basically walking along, dragging his knuckles on the floor, where his face is in the floor, where he's that upset and doing absolutely nothing, he should be called out. Same as Maddison should have enough times, and Romero, our other captain. But he goes and has the cheap shot at the one that he knows nobody likes.
Do you
That's
know why?
that's quite a dirty one. That I think that's quite dirty.
But Dan,
The other thing also, guys,
Dan, he was an easy target. That's why.
That's what I'm saying.
I just said it.
but what good did
That's what
it
I'm
do?
saying. That's what he said.
So,
What good did it do this evening? But Werner's come on, should have actually carried on with the ball instead of. I mean, it's a shocking ball in. He only really had one attack of note, and he balls that one up. And you're not going to get the best out of people, if you throw them under a bus.
Mm-hmm.
Rip people to pieces behind closed doors in a dressing room. When I was working for someone, if someone had called me out in front of the whole staff, I would have gone berserk.
No, you know what?
For me,
I think you, but I see that different. Call me out in front of everyone. I've now got a double attitude with you of I'm going to prove you wrong in front of everyone, but we all work differently. Talk to me behind the books as such. I haven't got as much pressure on me. It's only he said it to me, but now I've got everyone watching me. I'll do 10 times harder to prove you wrong. But
I think
that's just the way I
that's
work.
not
I
Werner,
know
though,
everybody's got their
his
own way.
personality,
That's not
though.
Werner,
I
though,
don't
bro.
think his personality is like that. I think he will just put his head down.
That's not Werner, though.
Yeah,
that's the
what I'm saying,
problem.
That's not Werner's personality.
And the thing is, though, to me, when I heard that, I said, Ange has lost it. He's gone. His head's gone. Because I straight away thought, easy target. Michael said it. Big up to you. You know what I mean? But like for me, he just looked like he lost it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because for me,
with the thing as well, when he goes and slags off Werner, like basically might as well have just said he's a shit player. You're like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Tell me something I don't know. You've only signed him twice, you dickhead.
Exactly.
But, you know what I mean? To me, that was just a dirt cheap shot. Basically, that's like coming out of the pub with someone you've just had a bit of an argument with, and just punching him in the back of the head and running off down the road. That was a proper dirty shot for me. I didn't like that. But I'm not saying Timo's a good player.
I think it's showing that he's under pressure and he knows it. And now
that's the point.
Reacting.
And also he can't deal with big characters.
He can't handle it. He can't handle the pressure.
Sorry to interrupt you, Scott. Sorry, mate.
No, it's done. You're good, Alex.
It's your turn, Alex.
I mean,
guys, can I move it on,
Yeah.
because we've gone
go
2.5
for it.
hours. Even though I said we're only doing an hour and a half. Yep, you lot were right. You said still shut up. It's going to go longer. Yep. Okay.
I know that feeling, mate.
Yeah, shut up, Stan.
I do. Yeah, bang in your face. I want to the league table now. We are currently 10th.
Yeah.
Brighton, Fulham, Bournemouth, Villa, Forest, all clubs above us that shouldn't be really. We'd expect Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, and City to be above us. We kind of expect that, but there's teams that are above us that you cannot defend it, and injuries aren't just the excuse. Our next game is against Man United, who are 1 point below us now, and after that we're playing a team that are top. So I don't want to talk about Liverpool because after the Man United game on Thursday, we've got another show. We'll talk about Liverpool then. Man United. So here's a few questions. Number one, how big is this game for the fans? And how big is this game for Levy and Enoch? Is the emphasis now more on we've got to get something from Liverpool, or we've got to get something from the United game from a fan perspective and from the ownership perspective? Because Man United now look like a team that are going to give us a game, right? The way they're playing, the way they've got a bit of camaraderie, the way that they've got that big win today, but they're just like us as well. They can get a result like that, then go and shit the bed the next game, right? They're no different to us, let's be honest.
How did they play today? All I know is the score.
First half, it was all City. Second half, United, basically. That's the best way to describe it.
Ian, can I be honest with you? That was the most boring game I have watched
I know, it
in
was
like
really shit.
2 years.
Yeah, the first half was crap.
For me, that was shit.
Can I ask a question? United not scored those 2 goals, what would have been the mood looking towards Wednesday? Would it have been United have lost again? You know, the results haven't been fantastic under Amorim, or are we now looking at it differently because they've scored 2 goals in 3 minutes and all of a sudden they've won at City and now they look like a team?
All I'd say is that they said
No.
that Ahmad Derby. They said because Ahmad Ahmad was very was the guy.
Ian, to answer your question, for me, going into this game, I always felt with the squad, the players we've got available, this was always going to be a difficult game because it's one thing having Dragusin, Gray, Spence at the back with Bergvall in the middle against Southampton. It's another thing when you're up against Rashford, Garnacho's, Bruno Fernandes. It's different now, isn't it? They can.
I don't know if Rashford's going to play at the moment because
did he drop him completely?
We don't know if he's going to play.
Right, but my point is, he's available to come off the bench if they need him to. Southampton had nothing that was going to cause us a threat.
Of course.
So I look at this game and I think Spurs win it just only because of home advantage. I think home advantage wins it, but I'm not writing off Man United. I'm not writing off Amorim. I think this is a 50-50 game, and I give Spurs like that extra 1 or 2% advantage.
Sort of like a 51-49er sort of thing.
Yeah, something like that.
I mean,
yeah.
with Man U winning,
I think you're being kind there still.
Whether they won or not today doesn't really. It's irrelevant to me. The fact that Man U won or lost or whatever even if they've lost their past 5 games, it's irrelevant to me. I'm more like, Spurs are playing next. What do we get next? It doesn't really matter who we got sitting there. I mean, today I said I thought we were going to lose this one today for the sheer fact it would have just matched with the other ones we've lost, basically. And
I must tell you,
just don't know who's going to turn up. So I am not bothered about what Man U turns up. I'm not really bothered about what other team turns up. I am now more bothered about what Tottenham turns up. Am I bothered that we play Chelsea? Of course I am. It's fucking Chelsea. But any other team, I'm really not bothered about the other team anymore. I'm just more concerned of what team of mine turns up.
I must tell you, Dan, you like to think that the away fans are hardcore. And there were lines and lines going in the away end before the game, and they were searching you. And the guy said to me after he searched me, he said, "What do you reckon the score will be?" And I said, 2-1 Spurs. He said, "I've asked about 20 people. You're the first person who said Spurs are going to win."
No, I knew we were going to win, man. I said it on Tottenham TV.
This is out seriously. So he's asked 19 or whatever it is people before me. He said everybody was saying either a Southampton win or a draw, and that's how people feel about Spurs at the moment.
You just don't know what you're going to get, and the fact that we went and let 2 teams who hadn't even won win their first game against us, and we haven't got the best record down in Southampton either. To me, it just had the Spursy thing written all over it. Just thank God it didn't, basically.
And still, right, tell that Iggy, right, I love Iggy, yeah, tell that Iggy, if he does another video on us need to smile, be happy about it, you just expect Mr. Box Office to confront him, yeah, right? Because he's been lucky. He's been lucky I've been going to suit dancing, yeah, on a Monday night. He's been lucky.
Suit
dancing, bruv. He's lucky.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah, don't need to go too much on that anyway.
What
but the point is,
athletic, aerobic-y, gym.
Just so we know, I love Iggy, yeah, but that video that he said, we need to be smiling and happy, bruv, and all that. No, he should know better. He should know better.
Alex, you just don't come across as a breakdancer, mate.
You know what I mean? What happens when we face managers that are tactically smart and willing to change things, like Iriola, like McKenna, like Glasner at Palace. Today we got lucky, or not lucky, but we faced a manager who was going to play.
What a result by Palace today, though.
And now when we play Amorim, he's going to set the team up to take advantage of us, and that's what concerns me. He's the kind of manager we shouldn't want to play. He'll set them up to best attack us, not just to play a certain style that he wants.
If they play counter-attacking low block against us, they're gonna pick us off.
Did you guys not think tonight we moved the ball much quicker? First half, I think
Southampton were awful, Ian. I thought they were dreadful. It's hard.
I know they were. No, but Right, but it's about what we do, not about what they do. For me.
What do you mean? It's
Yeah,
not
but
what they
it's-
do.
Well, I think it is because they were
As
so
well.
badly out of shape that it was easy
Ian,
for
we
us to
didn't
move
learn
the ball.
anything today,
They
bro.
weren't
The only thing
blocking
you
the
learned
passes,
today
they
was
were-
Maddison was very good.
Pape
When-
Salah looked like Ronaldo today at points. Like, he was skipping through them, he was dancing through them. He was like,
Ronaldinho, isn't it? It was.
I thought
Yeah.
Bergvall had a
Archie
good game.
Gray centre back today.
He did.
Ian, don't
Oh, he
overhype
did.
Bergvall, please. Don't
No,
overhype
No,
Bergvall, please.
Alex, I'm talking. We're just talking about today.
That's the point of it, Ian. He actually looked like a centre back. He ain't.
No,
sorry,
He's
Scott,
not.
you got to go.
Yeah, sorry. My kids, I have to go. It's dinner time. I got to go help the kids. So thanks as
All right.
always.
Let's see, Scott.
Enjoy the game.
Sit down.
Glad if people are happy, as much as I say, it doesn't matter to me. If you want to enjoy this game, enjoy the game. I would
Absolutely.
say, though, question what you think. I didn't see anything, and I'll keep saying it. I didn't see anything from this game that makes me think we're going to carry it forward. There was nothing that I saw that changed that gives me any hope going through that game. But if you want to get celebrate and love the game and be happy about it, be great. I had a great time on Eugene's channel. So if anybody's concerned about me being miserable watching the game, go take a look at that stream. You can see me and Eugene laughing and having fun the whole time.
Scott, don't
Cheers
worry,
to everyone.
work.
I'll listen as I make dinner. Thank you.
Big up, Scott, as always. Yeah, look, Ian, you said it well. Spurs did what they had to do. They got the win, and we completely blitzed them. But you could just tell at 2-0, players gave up, manager gave up, fans. You knew it was all crashing down around them, and that's been coming. That's been coming. Do you remember when we beat Man United? And I said, Man United were awful, Ian. They were awful. And you're like, you got to be happy. You got to be happy. It's like, yeah, but they.
No, listen. You win 5-0 away from home. Grant, they are rubbish. They're going down. They're doomed.
If we did that at Anfield, I'd be dancing. I'd be dancing here, right? If we did that at Stamford Bridge, if we did that at Newcastle, even if we did that at, let's say, Brighton or Fulham, I'd be like, fucking. I think there's just one or two teams in this league where I expect us to do that. And Southampton's probably the biggest one I expect us to do stuff like that. So
But for me, the most important thing for tonight was he played Spence and Bergvall.
Yeah,
I
agree.
agree.
But
I agree.
it was about
That's-
time, though. It was about
Yeah.
time, though.
Absolutely about
Let's
time.
be honest here. Spence that was a long time coming. Let's be honest here. You know what I mean?
Look what he did in the first minute.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you, Ian. But the thing is, though, like I said before, I can't go over the top. I said it on We Are Tottenham TV. I'm
Let's
sorry.
go.
I put the cat out the bag. What the channel was. You know what I mean? I did give him some praise, by the way. But the thing is, though, right, is that you know, I'm not going to get excited when I expected. I predicted it. So I can't get excited. You know what I mean?
You see what another option is playing Porro in front of Spence, which I think would work very well.
Now someone says again what I said before. He should be more further forward, Porro. Oh my gosh. The master talks again, and everyone now talks what I say. Sorry, Ian. It's just that you say something I've been saying.
That's all right, Alex. I'll give you praise. Don't get used to it. Okay, don't get used to it. I'll give you praise.
I'll give you that one. That was a good one, Ian. You're getting used to me. You're getting used to me.
No way.
Oh gosh. Big up Ian. Big up Ian. Yeah.
Ian, where did that come from? I wasn't expecting that.
No, I think
Listen,
he's
you
enjoying
gotta
it.
laugh. Listen, whatever it is, you got to try and have a laugh and banter in life, haven't you?
Yeah, no, I think he's getting used to us still. He's getting used to us. You know what I mean? That's why he's getting lots of respect from Mr. Box Office. You know what I mean? Even me and Mikel getting on with each other, and we didn't agree with him most of the time. You know what I mean? Even he's smiling. You know what I mean? You know?
Mate, I can't handle these kisses and hugs, man.
Isn't it? But what are we going to say next? Bring out the Alex.
They sound miserable.
What's everyone's kind of thinking for this game? I've already said I think we edge it only just, whether it's penalties or extra time or by one goal in normal time, we just edge it because of home advantage. I've been wrong many a time.
I say what I'm going to think. I think it's 50-50, mainly because Amarim's still in that new manager category. Like, okay, they won the derby. I agree with Dan in the sense I don't think it would have mattered really for this game. But I think he'll be out to win a trophy for them, at least in his first season, because obviously it will get him on side with the fans more. And I just think Amarin's a way better coach, manager, whatever you want to label it, than Ange. Like, we're talking light years ahead of Ange. So that by default makes me more scared. So I think they could easily do us, but maybe we get a bit lucky, like get a penalty, red card for them or something. Maybe we could win the game. But because it's a cup game, it's more 50-50. Like, I'm not even leaning more towards Spurs because of the new manager thing with Amarin.
So you're so you're on the fence. Dan?
Yeah, I'm on the fence. Yeah.
You're on the fence. Dan?
What's that? Sorry, that went out.
Spurs Man United. What do you think? Spurs Man United.
I mean, I pretty much agree with what you said. Very 50-50 game, but I think we're going to have that slight advantage where we're at home. I think both teams are going to be up for it. Both managers are going to be up for it. It could be an interesting game. Yeah, it could also be one of the driest games you ever watch. It just depends on what team on either side shows up. Because Man U are very similar to us, aren't they? Like, in the aspect of it's not so much the other team, it's what Man U turns up. Same as Spurs. So in this one, you got two of the same, innit? Which one is going to turn up from either side? Could be an interesting game.
Michael? You're on mute, Michael.
You can hear me. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. I think we are like they are a good stylistic like matchup for us. I mean, it's good for them, right? I think they try to like low block it, play it on the counter. I think they have like a fast attack, right? Which will be an issue for us. And from the games I've watched with them, I think they focus more on like the defensive side. They take the pressure on, right? I think one thing that I've spotted with them is that they are still like prone to those like stupid ass mistakes. They will just, just make something silly in the back line and you can punish them for it, right? And if there is a team, like if I can give one props to this team of ours is that we actually press well and that we capitalize on mistakes in the defense, right? So it's really hard for me because I personally, I think if we catch them off guard if we blitz them like we did with Chelsea, right, for the first 20 minutes, I think if you blitz Man United and just put one or two past them, I think then it's like easy settings. I don't think they will like have enough in their tank to defeat us at our own ground, right? My biggest worry is that this game is like a 0-0 for 70 minutes and then they catch us on a break. This is my biggest worry, right? But I would give like a slight advantage to us. I think if we are playing with like full squads, as in we had like Romero, Van de Ven available and other guys, I would be more confident. But I think the issue is that we don't really have like many impact subs, whereas their squad is much bigger than ours. And you can like, we can argue the quality, but still like, bodies are bodies, right? They can still impact the game more off the bench than we do. So yeah, I give slight advantage to us because of the home ground thing, and I think like they aren't settled into that system. But I'm not confident over this game. I think it can go both ways.
Well,
Everyone's sitting on the fence, man. I'm the only one that said I think we beat them.
I think
I think we'll beat them, but I wouldn't be surprised if we don't, right? If you get me right.
I think
because like
Go on, Michael. Go on.
Yeah, I think it's like a 55-45 or something like that. I think we can.
You're basically saying that if we win, you like bring it to me. I said we'd win, but if we lose, you're going to say like don't hold it on me because I said like I was on the fence or.
Yeah, but basically I'm a bitch. They can decide, right? But
I think 50-50. I agree with everybody. It is 50-50. I think what we've got over them, and like I said earlier, is that we can score lots of goals. Their strike force isn't as great as what people think. I don't think it is because today he's shown you a little bit today. I think Ahmad turned up today and won them a game. He was the bright spark in their team to get that game over the line for them. I do think that if we start very well, which we will start very well, I think we'll start very fast. If we get the goals like Mikel says, I think that will completely finish the game for them. You know what I mean? Because they've got nobody really up front. Let's be honest here. If they do what this manager can do, this coach can do, keep it tight in the first 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I think that's where we're going to go unstuck. I think that's where Man United will may get stronger in the game. That's what I think at the moment. But I think with home advantage, I think we have got a better chance because we are a very much attacking team that score lots of goals. You see what I'm saying? Whether Man United, I think Man United, if they're very clever, keep it tight for the next 30 minutes, stop us from doing certain things. They could get a goal or 2 goals and they could win the game. Yeah, possibly. But it is a 50-50 game. We can get at them at corners, set pieces. They're not very good at set pieces defensively. So that's another thing as well. Like Arsenal showing again. So I think there's a lot of advantages of us winning the game, which is scary, which is very scary because now we're in the semi-finals. And then we've got more games to play in January. So that's going to be very interesting. You know what I mean? So, very, very interesting. That's what I say.
Ian?
Too close to call. I
Here
think... No, I think United have won games probably through individual brilliance rather than team efforts. And it sounds like today was one of those. He's got a lot of work to do on that squad, Amorim. An awful lot of work to do. You know, and I haven't played that great. It was a good result today, for sure. But they haven't been that good since he joined. And that's because, he probably needs 3 or 4 windows to get his own players in. But I think we'll probably just about nick it. Just about.
I think Spurs. I'm going to ask for a score prediction of everyone. I'm going 2-1 Spurs. Dan.
Same with me. 2-1.
2-1 as well. Michael,
1-0
Spurs. I think it's
2-0 to United.
2-0 United. Dan's 1-0 Spurs. Alex.
2-1 Tottenham.
My problem is I watched the derby, right? And
you're probably going to be right.
I watched the derby, yeah, and I know I'm not doing me wrong. It wasn't an amazing derby. Like I don't think either team was that great, but when they scored that goal and when they were just in general, they seemed more like together than a number of years I've seen them before under other managers. It seems that Amorim's more. I know he's new, but he's just more involved than before. Like barking orders of the touch.
He's a unifier, isn't he? He's a unifier.
Yeah, they just look way more unified than I've seen them in 10 years of exaggeration, but. Like, I don't know, I just saw a difference with them when I watched the game today. Not even just because they won, just the way they were doing it. I don't know.
Do you know what? There's only one thing that worries me in this game, and it's not even Amorim and their tactics, or their ability to adapt. It's before we played Chelsea, I said we could play really well and find a way to fuck it up. And that's exactly what we did. We started off really well and we fucked it up against Chelsea. Man United have got our number in cup competitions. The amount of times when have we beat Man United in the cup game?
1980, Aussie dealers.
40 years ago.
Whoa.
Yeah. Manu will find a way to win. We will find a way to lose.
Mm-hmm. Dan, exactly what Carragher said is the only thing in the back of my head why I sit here and I say, do you know what? Haz will probably be right. 2-0 United. We will find a way. We will find a way. That's the only thing that bothers me. If it wasn't United, if it was like, I don't know, just United and Chelsea, we always find a way, man. We always find a way,
Yeah, but when we went 1-0 up today, did everyone feel safe? Or even 2-0? Did everyone actually feel safe?
Yeah, it's definitely today.
As soon as we scored,
the third one was all right.
You just had a feeling. I mean, Billy came in.
From the third one. But from the second one, I was still like, okay. This is
I found the last time we defeated them in the cup. It was 2nd of December 1998 in the League Cup. 3-1 at our ground. That was
Was
the
that
last time.
3-1 by Paul?
Was it William Causton game, or was that?
I don't know. I just checked. I
No,
just
William
checked the
Causton was the
match. I
league
just- I
game
don't
at
know.
the end of the season.
Is that the Stephen Carl?
20,
goal as well?
Yes,
20,
I was 1 year old at that point. I was 1 year old at that point. I don't know.
26 years ago.
No.
I just started uni.
I was like 6 in 98. No, yeah, I was 6 in 98.
I just discovered what fun meant.
After that, they
Didn't need
defeated
to
us
know
in
that
the-
much info.
They defeated us in the FA Cup
I told you what
2008.
fun looks like.
Well, that's right. Still, I remember Jimmy Hotspur
It's that
saying
League Cup final,
he
I
was there.
remember.
1980. Hoddle was in goal. Hoddle was in goal. Aussie scored from the left-hand edge of the box, top corner.
The 80s win. Yeah, that's the only thing that worries me with this game. But listen, we'll see. People, thanks for tuning in as always. We'll be back tomorrow night, Monday night podcast, 8:30. Thanks for watching this show. Big up to all the people that put a super chat in and channel members, Henry Fong, A User, Soul Boy, A User with a couple more super chats. And of course, Danny the Bun came out hiding. Good to see Danny.
It's that one. I was just checking his
guys,
score.
When are you next on? Has you go first? When are you next on? What's going on Hasper TV?
Well, yeah, Fridays as normal, or maybe Saturday next week. I don't know. Most probably Friday. But I will have a match review video out tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. So yeah. But I advise you guys to go back and watch my last stream though, from 6 minutes on, because TJ literally just lost his head last week. It was so funny.
Right, go to Hasper's last show. And
That's 6 minutes. Just watch from 6 minutes and you'll love it. I guarantee it. Like you'll be like, this guy is.
He came on here last after Rangers had lost his shit as well. Actually,
Yeah, he did.
It was worse than that. Trust me, it was worse. I was like, I started the stream and I thought it was all right, and he just went off. I just let him. It just went off.
he's at breaking point. That one. He's at breaking point.
But I love him, man. He's too funny. Honestly, he's just too.
TJ's a top guy. He's a top guy. Hasper TV, like and subscribe. Dan, you on tomorrow?
Yep, I'll be on 11 o'clock in the morning with Tommy. He's jumping on there with me, and
wicked.
Take it from there, basically.
I'm so
and
glad.
then take it from there, and then there'll be a couple during the week, and then I just go with the flow, basically. You know how I do it. But yeah, 11 o'clock tomorrow morning on there with Tommy, and then probably a couple of others as well, and take it from there.
Do you know what? Send me a link. I might jump on that. I might be free
Fine.
if you've got space. Box office. When's your next spoiler alert?
Hopefully soon. I'm like Dan at the moment. It's just when I'm available at the moment. So hopefully soon. But there will be a debate show that I am doing. I'm going to organise, have soon on, where I'll just put the link out, and then anybody like Sabbers just come and debate me. Yeah, I'm up for challenges right now. I really am, because I just want to just win some people to pieces. As far as I'm concerned, I've had enough of them, to be honest with you. No, I'm just in the mood. I'm in the mood.
You've had enough of the dancing about now, and you just want to punch up.
Yeah, no, it's not. Well, I wouldn't go that far, Dan. I have to keep it PG. You know what I mean? You know, but I fancy a debate now. I've had enough of the waffle and other people's echo chambers on the Tottenham fan base. I've had enough of it. So I'm just saying, if you disagree with me, come have a debate. Make yourself known. When it's told the show. Really.
Get to know. If you don't know,
Wait.
Mr. Box Office TV. Ian, Michael, you don't have channels, so you can just say whatever you want.
Well, no, all else, hopefully maybe tomorrow night, or maybe we're down. I've just got to see how work goes tomorrow. What I will say is that I just hope the Spurs fans saw the support that Rangers gave their team on Thursday, because the support and the atmosphere was absolutely brilliant. And if 17,000 behind the goal can get behind the team, it'll lift the rest of the grounds, and hopefully Thursday will be a memorable night. Because you know what? The results they're strange results that we're getting more and more. You look at Everton drawing at Arsenal, Fulham drawing at Liverpool. You know, Spurs could win this League Cup. It's not beyond the realms of possibility.
Stoke City.
Arsenal used to hate playing Stoke City. They despised them with a passion, along with Bolton. them two used to
Or
kick
Samuel
the
or-
grandmothers. Them two used to kick the grandmothers right out of Arsenal every time they played them. Stoke and Bolton, they used to just beat them. They always lost the game, but they used to kick the shit out of them basically at the same time. Arsenal always had an injury. Sorry, Michael.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. You
Didn't
become
they
what
do
you
it to
hated
Ramsey
the
with
most,
the
right?
stroke? They killed Ramsey, wasn't it? That tackle. Who was it? I can't remember.
Yeah, Shawcross.
Shawcross, yeah, on Ramsey. That's what I remember. Yeah.
Good question, Spurs Kings. What happened to Arsenal?
Well, they became Stoke. Michael, finish what you're saying. We all interrupted you.
No.
Finish what you're saying.
No worries. I didn't have really that anything important to say, right? But yeah, it's like I hope that the Levy out support continues. It was brilliant hearing it on the TV today, and I hope our fans get behind the team because we will need it on against United. And listen, before Rangers, I said that Ange, like next 3 games, whether we want him to stay or no, for the good of this club, I said that he needs to win like at least 2 of them. And I'm fine with drawing at Rangers, right? But I said that Southampton and United, he has to win those both games, right? He won at Southampton. Listen, United away, it's right. I hope we win. I really hope we win because, like, listen, Liverpool and Arsenal are still in the competition, so I'm not necessarily like fancying our chances of winning the cup. But listen, cup is a cup, right? Everything can happen. So, yeah.
But do you guys think his actual like managerial position depends more on the league than what we're doing?
No, I mean not on the
Yeah, I
cup.
do.
I don't think. You think Levy gives a shit if we?
That's what I'm saying.
go
If we get
out to
knocked out by
United?
Man United, do you think it will make a difference with Levy? I don't think so.
I
No.
think we go out to United and Levy just
Carries
ignores
on.
it. Yeah. For me, it matters, right? But
Well, it matters more for me. I know I'm like you. It matters more for me on Thursday.
Fans care about the cups, not the club. Don't give a shit.
Yeah.
All right, listen, we're going to wrap it up there, everyone. Thanks for watching. As always, we'll see you tomorrow night. Check out the other guys on their channels. And until the next time, leave you out. Come on, you Spurs.
come on, Spurs.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away.